Hi, everybody.
Whenever.
Hello.
I'm good to go
Hello.
whenever.
We're live now.
Yeah, we are live. So, hi, everybody. We are still just waiting for Ren, but we thought we'd start because we were a little bit late anyway. So, just before we do start.
Hello.
Oh, who's got YouTube on? Is that you?
It's not me.
No,
Not
it's
me.
not. It's I don't have you. I don't have it open.
I don't think
Sean.
it's me.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Joey. Hi, Eric.
Hi, everybody in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just going. Hi, everyone else who can't see on the list.
Yeah, so just before we started tonight, I just wanted to say or mention one of our lovely friends from the MAM world, Denise Rainey. We found out today that she tragically died, and I think it's shook quite a lot of people up in the MAM world because she was a big part of the community. So I just put a little picture behind me that you can all see in remembrance of Denise. And our thoughts go out to all her family and her husband, her children and grandchildren. It's just so sad. And I know you've met her, haven't you, Jinx? You met her at Rally.
I did get to meet her last year at Rally. She really was a good woman, and she had a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Did a couple lives with her and Linda also last summer, so I was able to get to know her a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful, very sad. So I couldn't go by without, mentioning that. And just wanted to say, our thoughts are with the family and we're all very sad about it. So,
Wasn't she just on Allie's channel not very long ago?
She used to appear with Ali a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to go on with Ali a lot. Yeah.
Sad story.
Very sad,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, rest in peace, Denise.
Yes.
It's just shaken us all a bit, I think, today. But
Hey, what time is it? What time is it in the UK?
so it's 8:10 in the UK at the moment.
Okay. So that's beer 30. That's beer 30 here in the States.
Yeah, and it's gin time.
Oh, I've just been boring with my water infusion.
You're drinking a lava lamp. Is that
I'm
a lava lamp?
I'm unprepared. What's wrong with me?
Yeah. And I know there's lots of people in the chat here.
Yeah, I've seen loads of comments.
And
What's new on the Avery case?
Go on, Dan.
We were just going to speak about that actually because recently it's been announced that Stephen Avery's got COVID-19, but based on what Kathleen said today in her tweet, and based on what Sandy Greenham's saying that he's doing all right. He's been a bit unwell from it, but by the sounds of things, he's doing all right. So we just got to send some prayers out to him as well.
Yeah,
and to his family because it's scary enough being in prison anyway, but then when there's a lockdown and you confine to your cell most of the day, and then you get sick,
it's bad enough for someone that's in prison that shouldn't be in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
and with all this going on outside with his filing. And what the state is doing.
Yeah.
It's pitiful. It's pathetic.
Yeah. Well, they've also just said that they've just Kathleen
been granted
a motion. So he's been granted. Well, they've been granted the motion for an extension till the 25th of June, and expanded the word count to I think 9,000. Was it 9,000 words?
Yeah.
So that's just been.
I'm looking forward to reading that.
Definitely.
Because the amount of mistakes that were made in that response that I've seen like people tweeting about it left, right, and centre as well, just making clippets and ripping them apart. So if we all can do that, like, it's not going to take, you know.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to the reply.
Yeah,
Isn't it interesting? She gets only 9,000 words, and they got 35,000.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was 35,000, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. So we'll see. So welcome, Jinx and Ripper.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you both for joining.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. I have been mithering Ripper to death. While he's been out in Florida.
And it worked.
And when he DM'd me to say, let's do it, you know, I was like, yay. Because ever since I watched Tiger King, I've kind of been fixed, just like Making a Murderer, I've kind of been fixated on it. So obviously, you've just been to Florida, and I just said to Di, we've got to get Ripper on, and we wanted Jinx and Ren as well, because they're just such a big part of the team, and you've been doing amazing work. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Both of you guys. I'm just interested to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah.
Well, you guys asked me a long time ago to come on, though. Like a long time ago. And I said, sure, I will. And then things got real busy with the Don Lewis case, and then Florida. And I just thought, now's probably a good time, because knowing what I know, things are getting ready to get real busy. Yeah. It's going to be really good too.
What do you know? What do you know? What do you know?
Bill, come on. Well, I was watching that live between you and Charles Boswell. Yeah, it was really interesting. Yeah, but, like you were saying, there's loads of stuff that we've discussed that these don't know, and I'm like, tell us.
Right? Yeah, there is a lot of things that we can't put out there. Like, and we've put a lot of information out there, and people are like, do we need to take a time out?
No, it's okay.
Is it bathroom break already?
Yeah. No, it was just getting dark. So.
You're the only one who does that in the middle of a show.
Hey, that was to get you guys to talk. But we get sometimes people will say, you know, do you think it's a good idea to put this information out because Carole's going to find out what you know? Well, we're only putting a small amount of information that we have out. We have so much more that we don't put out there because some of it doesn't need to be out there. It needs to come out.
How do you decide what goes out then? How do you know what to put out?
Normally Tina's the boss, and Tina tells us what we can put out and what we can't.
Well done, Tina.
I'll second that.
No, we have a discussion where we'll say, how important is this, and would it hurt the case if we put it out, or do we want Carole to know that we know about this? Or it might be something where we want someone to mess up and say something, and we just hold on to this evidence, and then when someone comes out and they say something, you know, we can go like, you liar, we have all this right here, you know. So it just depends on what it is. And then we normally talk about it, or Jinxie will say, everybody keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Good on, Jinxie.
Blame me.
But she tried to keep the squirt bottle stuff out, but I was like, that has to come in. I said, we got to talk about that.
No.
So can I ask you guys, before the documentary came on Netflix just at the beginning of lockdown, so just it was about the middle of March, was it?
Right.
Tiger King out, yeah. And so I watched it more or less straight away when it came out. Did you already know about the disappearance of Don Lewis, and did you know all about the rift between Carole and Joe before you watched Tiger King? Because you live in Oklahoma. don't you, Ripper? Yeah.
Yes. I did not know anything. I didn't even know there was an exotic animal world. And I did not know there was one like 2.5 hours from where I live. I knew nothing about it. Nothing.
Wow. Because I just assumed that you probably knew or had some understanding of it before. So for you, it was Tiger King came out and bam, you were on it.
Yeah. And I watched it. I finished watching it on April 1st. So I didn't even watch it when it first came out. I was like a week and a half behind when I started watching it. So when I had finished watching it, it had been out for a full 2 weeks. So I was kind of behind.
Right. What about you, Jinxie? Did you know?
I did not know about this whole world. I did not know about I might have passed Don Lewis's page at one or more times during I have looked at missing people's cases in the past, so I have been all over those Charlie Project websites and NamUs. However, I did not know. I didn't even want to watch it after 30 minutes. She's like, tigers don't belong in cages, and she's sitting in front of a tiger in a cage, and I was just like, no. And it was actually Nosy who kept tweeting about it, and I figured I have newspapers. I'll look up a couple of articles for her. So I was looking up articles for her a few days before I even finished it. She encouraged me to watch it all the way through. And I tell people you don't really need to watch it all the way through. You only really need to watch the third episode, which is less about Don, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Di.
No, I was just going to say about the Tiger King thing, like, you know, because I was quite surprised at the difference, like the different stories that in there. Like you've got the Joe Exotic kind of thing, and then it moves on to the Don Lewis thing, and then it moves on to like Joe being wrongfully convicted, and it's like, come on, get stuck in with some, like, I think it just touched on.
Yeah, well, you've got the lawsuit as well, the copyright lawsuit in between that, and then you've got the murder for and then it's just like
there's a lot of layers.
There's a lot of layers to it. Yeah,
I think that the small episode, the one episode about Don, I think that is really what irked her to go after Joe, was this missing. She would rather forget about it and not have people looking at that. And here we all are now.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think Carole regrets doing it now? Do you think she regrets it?
Oh yeah, she's all doing those videos about her regrets.
I know.
Yeah.
I was watching a few of those YouTube videos yesterday that she puts, because she puts them out
daily, diary readings,
about the diary readings, and some of I've been shotting some of her comments because they're very interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, not the ones that people are just saying, "Oh, Carole, we love you," and you know, it's more the ones who are straight out. Did you kill your husband? And it's just quite bizarre. Like, even in some of the answers, she does a lot of copy and pasting, because a lot of it, she just says, "Oh, hey, all you cool cats and kittens." And that's her reply to most people.
We have to get that in there somewhere.
Yeah. I was supposed to do it at the beginning, but then because of the Denise thing and everything, I just, But, so I have been looking at them, and I've been, like, taking some screenshots because they are quite interesting.
Yes. I've got an interesting one. Which might come up later in the conversation.
She removes a lot of those comments also, because I have made comments, and then I have 6 different YouTube accounts, and so I'll make comments with different accounts.
Yes,
and then 2 of my accounts, she talks to me, but she doesn't know that it's me. But we have conversations on different videos of hers. She has no idea.
I'll probably screenshot your conversation.
You might.
I had to laugh yesterday. Was it yesterday or today? What was it she called? What was it she called you? A slime ball? Or
she didn't, but someone else
did. Someone else did? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
didn't you reply to? Was it you that or someone replied to it? I saw something anyway. And it just made me laugh.
I think Carol replied to the comment of someone calling me a slime ball.
Yes, that's
It's
right.
all
Yes,
good. It's all
Yeah.
good. If my name comes up, that's great. I don't care
Yeah.
how it's used. If it comes up, that's great. If Carol sees
The
Mr.
fact that she knows your
James,
name is awesome.
I know. Yes, that's great.
And she must have known. She must have known you were in Florida.
She should have known because I called her and left her voicemails. I emailed her. I did a video right in front of her place.
I saw. Yeah.
If she doesn't know I was there, she's not that smart. But I'm pretty sure she knew.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. Yeah.
So why do you think that she's not answering you? I mean, obviously,
what is she going to do? Is she going to call me back and say, no, you can't dig up the septic system? No, she can't do that. So if she calls back, she's going to have to say, sure, come dig it up if you pay for it. And then we're going to go dig it up. And she's not going to allow that to happen. Even if there's nothing there, she's just not going to allow that to happen.
Hasn't she said a couple of times that she would let it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said if someone would pay for it, she would have them do it. But she's not. She didn't mean it. I think she lied when she said that.
She lied. Oh my God!
She got a habit of lying.
Carole lied. Shocker. Never.
Yeah, she may have allegedly lied. Allegedly. That's right, Linda. She said that we could. She said that if we paid for it, we could do it, but she's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Wow. So based on like all of the stuff that you guys have been doing, I mean, you guys have got proper stuck in. Like, has your opinion changed? Like, from when you first started to now, has things changed for you?
Mine I change like daily. Like new stuff comes in, and I'm like, oh well, this theory isn't going to work anymore because we get new evidence, and we try to follow the evidence that comes in. You know, like after you watch the documentary, most people think he was fed to the tigers. And it could be a possibility, but when you look at like just the stuff that we have looked at, I don't think he was fed to the tigers. I think that would have been too much work. There were easier ways to dispose of his body than that.
And is there anything that you can say to us that gives you that inkling?
I'm gonna let Jinx answer that question first.
For me,
on her theory
I
mind
think
changes.
I think it's less likely for her to grind up and feed him to the tigers, just because that doesn't really seem like women are more into like less messy type of murders. If you look up like some of those statistics and stuff, I mean, it could happen, but I think she would have done it where she did it with like a poison or something, suffocated him somehow. And then the easiest way to get rid of the body, to me, I would think, is for her to bury the body somewhere where it's never going to pop up in a plane outside the Gulf or float, to land shore. It's not going to come up in in the creek or wherever the water. I think there's one about a lake, a theory about a lake. I think he's buried somewhere, but I don't think he's buried on her property where the sanctuary is. That's my theory.
Yeah.
It's changed a little bit as I get new evidence and see different properties and that kind of thing. So.
And is this how long you've both been working on it, since you've watched it at the start of when Tiger King first came out? You've literally just like jumped on it from then?
It was like 2 weeks. I was probably about the same time Ripper did. I probably finished watching it at the end of March. Probably took me 2 days to actually finish it or whatever, 5 a day. But yeah, so like it's been about 2 months.
April 3rd or April 4th, I think, is when we started as a group. With Nosy, Tina, Jinx, and I. I think it was April 3rd or April 4th.
Yeah, I
because
remember that coming out. Yeah.
not long after I'd watched it, obviously because we know, like Jinx and Ren, you guys, we know you from the Making a Murderer world, and Ren invited me into the Facebook group, and that's like I've learned so much,
Same.
you know, since the documentary. It's just so much keeps coming out daily. So whose idea was the Facebook group?
I just kept telling her, go make a group. I don't know who told her first, but I kept saying, she asked me if there was any group on Facebook. I said, there seems Tiger King ones, but not one specific for Don.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me.
It is an amazing group. It's
It really is.
Yeah.
It's and one of the amazing things about the group is all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in the group. There's so many different private chats going on with so much information that, you know, we have some amazing people in the group that will send us messages and they'll say, hey, I found these documents or I found this and that. Do you want me to post it or do something else with it? What do you want me to do? But instead of just putting stuff out there, a lot of people will check with us and ask, should we keep this hidden or should we publish it? Yeah. And that's a really nice thing to have when you have a group where a lot of the members are conscious of information that goes out and they know that, like for example, we're working on some stuff with this stuff in Costa Rica right now. And there's information that we do not want out there yet. And there have been members that have sent me messages saying, you know, hey, I found this. And I'll say, do not publish that. Just keep it hidden right now because this is something that we need to present to the FBI. To present, can you delete that?
Stop talking.
You know,
I'm moving on.
Another drink.
Is that a kitten behind you? Have you got a little kitten behind you?
So anyway, yeah, the group is amazing. I'll just leave it at that.
Is that Jinx behind you?
Hold on, let me see. That is Jinx right there. Yeah. Jinx has a tail. The other one does not have a tail. But
and,
yeah.
that one, and the other one is Ren, isn't it? Is it Jinx and Ren?
Really?
It's well, I think the other one's actually named is Bobsy, but I've been calling her Nosy.
Nosy, that's right. Yeah.
Come here. Kitty. I don't think she can get down. Come here. Let me get her down real quick.
Cat. I can't get down either.
I just saw she looks tiny.
I saw Ren's got 2 new little kittens today. Who she was going to call.
She was going to what?
Going to call her new kitten. But Ripper took the names.
Oh my god!
Oh,
little kitty.
Oh, hey Jinxie.
I keep thinking I should be saying hi every time you say that.
Hello, Jinxie.
This one's crazy.
Well, then it's just like me.
Yes, I mean, crazy. Oh,
nails, claws.
So anyway, the group is really super amazing, and there's some great people and great researchers in that group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of researchers, like we were going to ask you and Ren about this, Jinxie, because you guys are the like super duper researchers that we know from. I mean, obviously you are as well, Repair. Yeah. But we know you guys from Making a Murderer. So, like, what's your speciality in researching, Jinxie?
Hey, why don't you let me answer that question?
Go ahead, you tell them.
Okay.
All right. If you need to find an old newspaper article, Jinxie is the person. I don't care what you do. If there's if something has been in the newspaper, she'll find it. And there's other things, but that right there is an impressive skill that she has.
Yes. And we
That's-
obviously
Yeah, we've seen that before in Making a
seen that
Murderer.
for Making a Murderer. I mean,
Yeah.
That stems from my genealogy. I mean, my research really started with doing my own family tree back in 2006 or so. And I just applied my genealogy research in a different way with the true crime stuff. You know, I find a lot of the family connections too. Some of the people in this case too. I mean, but more so in Making a Murderer, I do a lot of the family trees for, you know, the jurors and the witnesses and all of them.
Mm.
My thing is always double check. You might hear something, and it might sound good and grand, but I like to go and double check everything. So that's my thing.
Well,
I
how
always
do you
tell
even
everybody,
know
double
where
check.
to start though? Like when you guys go out and research, like how do you know what to start? And you just pick something random and then start reading it?
When I first came on the Making a Murderer case, there was like nothing out there. All I was doing was trying to screenshot all the evidence that they were showing in the episodes. And then as they came out, they were coming out, you know, in bunches, and you just, you know, you click one, you start reading, and you find something that you know, you take note of. I have 3 or 4 spirals of notes just from watching Making a Murderer, not let alone, you know, all the stuff I was reading. And you kind of just follow a lead, you know, you find something that stands out and you just go with it until you find all that you can on that subject.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
hence
amazing.
the rabbit hole.
Yes.
Yeah,
Rabbit
there
hole.
many of them. Yeah.
For me, I'll tell you how this started out in this case. Because I watched the documentary, and after it was over, I thought it was a spoof. I was like, "There's no way this is real." I mean, I really thought it was a spoof. And then I started, you know, going online. I'm like, "Oh, it's real," and all these people are real people. And then, of course, probably 15 minutes after doing that, it hit me, you know, like there's 3 daughters who are real people who have lost a father, and nobody gives a crap about it. I mean, that's how it appeared to me, is that you had an ex-wife and 3 daughters that were all alone. Yeah, there's Gladys, Linda, and Gail right there in your background. But nobody really cared. And I just thought, that's not the way the justice system is supposed to work. That's not the way that our public servants are supposed to work. You know, we have things in place so when something happens, as a taxpayer, there are things set in place that are supposed to help and support victims. And this did not happen. So one of the first things I did was I started looking into the family and the people around the family. And one of the first people that I wanted to talk to was Anne McQueen. So I asked either Jinxie or Nosy or someone. I was like, hey, see if you guys can find Anne McQueen. And then I found an article that had to do with the ex-wife of Kenny Farr. And like in my video, she was the second video I made was an interview with the ex-wife of Kenny Farr. And
that's Trish, isn't it? Is that Trish?
Trish, yes. And once I finished that interview, me and the 3 girls, we just kept going off of the stuff from that interview and that information. And we just kept, I mean, that's where we built, I think that's where our trail started, was Trish and Anne. And then as we went down that trail, you know, there were other branches that branched out. But that's where I started. I mean, I didn't really go and read a whole lot of stuff. We actually talked to witnesses themselves. I don't know how they have found so many phone numbers and people. And I mean, it's really crazy. These, you know, Nosy, Jinx, and Tina, like I'll say I need a phone number for, so and so.
Yeah.
And
He'll say, I need a phone number for Mexican Mike, and we're like, oh yeah, we're getting right on.
There you go. Where do you even get them from?
How do we? Yeah, this is. I mean, I only wish I could do what
I know.
what
That
you
is
say.
not enough. That is not enough to find out who someone is.
First, it was who is Mexican Mike, but
Google that and his number will come up.
they can get phone numbers for people, and it's really crazy how efficient they are when it comes to information that that sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I'll be real busy and I'll grab my phone. I'll like, hey, who owns this property? And then I'll just put that in there and leave. And like 20 minutes later, I come back, and if they don't have like the answer, I almost feel like they're being lazy because I'm like, it's been 20 minutes. It's taken so long. They're really good at getting information. It's amazing, actually. So, I'm gonna see where Nosey's at.
I think she's.
Oh, okay. I see. I got a message from her.
All right.
She never answered me.
Okay. Hey, Nosy, if you're watching, unplug your microphone and camera, the USB thing. Unplug them and plug them in different places.
Oh, she having trouble with her camera?
Yeah.
I sent her the link in that little in the chat with Jinx and
Twitter,
Dan.
yeah.
So.
She asked about it earlier. I just said it's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, as you were saying about the daughters, and like for Anne McQueen, they've never got closure for Don, and they just want to know what happened. And so I bet they're.
Well, I'll tell you what happened is he was murdered.
Well, yeah.
That's what happened. I mean,
Yeah.
What do you think is the if you can say this, but what do you think is the most interesting piece of evidence that you've uncovered so far that could possibly solve
talk about?
If you can, yeah.
Jinxie, what do you think the most remarkable?
I've only found one thing, and that was the signatures, which I think is very significant.
Yeah.
Showing that that they were traced, forged, and the only one who benefited from that was Carole. So it gives Carole a lot of motive for disappearing her husband, in my opinion.
That's actually one of the comments that I saw on one of her videos that she shared on YouTube. And I screenshot the answer that she gave out about it. That she said, even if I didn't screenshot the question, but her answer was, even in the sheriff's statement, he says that they were agreed to be authentic by Don's daughters and were ratified by a judge who saw all of the expert witness testimony. What everyone leaves out is that all of the documents were tested and found authentic by 3 different expert handwriting firms. And then she said, was that changed?
She said 2 on the one I saw.
This one, this says 3.
And I can elaborate on that right there. I have a copy of one of those reports, but what Carole doesn't understand is that these daughters were threatened by Carole that if you do certain things, I will sue you. Their attorney also told them, I don't know if we can win in court, but these daughters were under duress. And there are laws to protect people. If someone signs something under duress, you can challenge that in court. Carole doesn't understand that. She doesn't understand that all of the things that she did, the threats that she made to these daughters, caused them to be under duress when they signed anything. Mm. So she's going to have a rude awakening here pretty soon. And I don't care what she thinks is right. she is totally wrong. And
Yeah.
like I said, she's going to have her ass handed to her sooner than later.
If she's ever arrested for murder, am I still here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're here.
Okay. If she's ever arrested for murder, it'll be up to a jury of her peers to tell her if that was forged or not, depending on all of the expert testimony. And there's 6 now saying that it was traced. So
Yeah, I saw that video about that, and as well because you showed it to Charles in your live yesterday, and that's really interesting because it looks like 3 different people.
Yes, on
That thing that you shared yesterday.
Jamie's signature.
Yeah.
Jamie's.
Yeah.
I know.
Is this a different part of the signature now?
That one, there's the marriage certificate that Jane is showing there. That's the top part is Don's signature on his marriage certificate. And then the one below that is, I don't know if that's off the will or the power of attorney.
Yay!
Hey, hi, Ren.
No, they made it.
Oh my gosh.
Did you unplug your stuff and it worked?
No, I had to stop using Chrome and use the Samsung internet and do all my so I've been listening, but I just haven't been able to. It was blocking StreamYard and I don't know why. I'm a new guy, so whatever, I'm here.
Well, you're here now.
Carole
Welcome.
Carole did
It was Carole. Yep, she did it.
Carole.
Carole did it.
So now
I'm gonna
you've
meet
now you've joined, Ren. I just wanted to quickly ask you what we just asked Ripper and Jinxie before. Did you know about any of this before you watched Tiger King?
No. Friend of mine on Twitter that's been hanging with me since I joined the community sent me a message and he was like, dude, you got to watch this. And I was like, no, that is the last thing I plan to watch. Not happening. And I got up early one morning and everyone was asleep and finished all 7 episodes before anyone in my house woke up. And by the last episode, I had texted my best friend and told her, I was like, I know you're not doing anything. We're going to Oklahoma.
Oh, hey, don't tell the rest of this story, FYI.
Oh, I'm not going to tell the good stuff. Duh.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
No. So we did that. And then once we checked it out, we literally just drove by and then drove right back home. We were kind of trying to see if the casino was open, but it was closed. And then, I just couldn't believe that she, again, like watching, Stephen and Brendan, you're just sitting there and you're like, did I really just watch this? And then so much information is already so readily available and no one moved on it. And then I actually started looking at Joe's situation until, me and Ripper connected. And then it's been 2 months from there.
Yeah, because I was just saying that it was you that introduced me to the Facebook group. And then since then, there's so much information, so much we've found out. You guys are just incredible. I mean,
I learned a lot from you guys and y'all being the advocates y'all are and watching you guys. And then, I just started getting in y'all's inboxes. So it trickles down to you guys too. So we appreciate y'all being there and supporting us.
Oh,
thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, let me answer this question that Michelle McKinney's asking about the death certificate.
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know the exact date that they used for death. Right there, that question there. But he was last seen on the 18th of August. So I'm going to assume is August 18th is the date that they used.
They used August 19th, 2000.
Okay, so the day he was reported missing. All right, so the 19th is the date that they used. that's when he was reported. But August 15th is probably the day that he was killed. And I think, I'll just say this here. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 90% sure that there might be a memorial on August 15th of this year.
Oh,
Right.
Maybe.
yes, I saw you did like a poll to see who would.
Yeah, I saw
Obviously,
that.
I had to say online because I'm in the UK, but
I
would
clicked
say-
yes before I read anything else.
No, I clicked on. I would, yeah,
Jump the
attend
gun.
online, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at that right now to see, wow, there's a lot of people that would,
imagine.
that's crazy. But yeah, I think because August 15th is on a Saturday. So that would actually work out pretty good if the family decides that they want to do that. And I think they should, and I hope they will.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be done.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So going back to that question that you just had up about the death certificate, because that's similar to what happened in the Stephen Avery case.
Yep.
You know, there's no body, and they said that they did a post-mortem on a body that wasn't there. But you mentioned a book in one of your other lives yesterday, Rika.
How to try a case without a body.
Yeah, the nobody case got well. Oh, you just said Google the nobody case. Go and I've written that down. Like
Yeah,
it's the name of the book.
His name is. Hold on, I'll look. His name is Ted. Like DeBose. Ted, and it's DIBIASE.
Okay. Yeah, because that's really interesting to me.
Oh, wait, hold on. I think. Wait, hold on. I think that's him. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Yeah, it is. It's not Ted. It's Tad. 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 Look up nobody murder cases.
Okay. Yeah, because it's really interesting to me. I mean, because you know, there's a lot of different cases out there. Like there was a case I was reading into where they had no body, no weapon, nothing, and they still managed to convict this guy. It's the same with Stephen and Brendan. So that'll be really interesting for people to read.
They can try you with circumstantial evidence. It's up to the jury then to decide.
That's the book right there.
A practical guide to investigate and prosecute. Okay. Brill, thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
I can't believe I've just done that and we've not all got.
We're still here.
I talked to this guy. I called him and talked to him.
Yeah.
And he said he would be interested in helping the sheriff's department on this case if they wanted help. And I think he might have said he had reached out to him already, but so far, I guess he's not helping yet. But Charles Boswell told me that if he was elected sheriff, one of the first calls that he made would be to this guy right here to have him come help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like
not only that.
great guy.
So what would he do? Would he put a case together, like a circumstantial case together for them?
Yeah, he basically puts all the information together and helps the prosecutors in what they need to do to prosecute the case, basically.
That's the problem, though, is that none of them are moving on this case with anything that they have. And Chronister has already outsourced to the Cold Case Institute, and whoever has given their analysis of everything and has given their opinion on the evidence and all that stuff. And none of them are. Ashley Moody is not moving on it. I brought up to Tina the other day about a different entity of the government that maybe we could talk to, but there's a reason why they're not moving on it, because there's plenty here. I mean, at least for someone to want to take a look, or, eyebrows are raised. Chad's admitted hey, we know this is forged, even though he lied about how long ago he knew it. But yeah,
Well, hey,
that hit me off the rails. I was mad about that.
Okay, but let's back up just for a second. The fact that he admitted that he said that's pretty big. I mean,
y'all see him twirling his ring while he was talking and fidgeting with his fingers and couldn't sit still.
But that was pretty big that he did say that he came out and said it's forged. And the fact that he said we have learned of some new things that we didn't know before, although he said that they got it from Anne and the daughters. That's not where he got it from. But the fact that he's talking about it and saying it, that's a big step on his part. And I think I know, but I'm just saying, I think it's going to take them a little time to do whatever it is they need to do. But
and he also say that Don was murdered. So why is it still a missing persons case and not a homicide?
Well, that's a really good question, and the only answer I have for that is what Charles Boswell said, that it would show up as an unsolved case, which hurts your stats.
Which is absolutely disgusting, I think. Like,
I do too.
Stats, like, what about the people involved in this? Like, that's what one of the things that annoys me about all these kind of things. It's like, you're just interested in money. You're just interested in saving face. What about the people who've been murdered? What about the victims and their families? Like,
hey, on this question that Carrie's asking about the millions, all of that money would be tied to motive, and I think a jury would probably have common sense and see that all these documents were forged. So I think everything would go back into Don's estate, and then his 3 daughters. And one thing we got to remember is that there are 3 daughters, and he also had a son named Danny also. But I think all of his kids would probably be entitled to
everything she had,
and plus interest for 23 years. I mean, it's not going to be just the $5.8 million that that she got back in the day. It's going to be a lot more than that. And they might, if the county doesn't act on this fast, the family might have a civil lawsuit against the county for dropping the ball. I don't know if that could happen or not, but they might want to make a move sooner than later, because there are some attorneys that are they are interested in what's going on.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So there's another question here.
I think I'll answer what my feelings are if she got arrested on any other charges. I think that would be a good thing. I think it would apply pressure to her. Like, say she got arrested for tax evasion or something like that. And, whatever the time is for each of her tax evasions, for every profit, non-profit, whatever she has. Looking at a real long term, she might just make a deal.
Do you think so?
As long as they have evidence. I don't want her getting arrested for something that, I don't like our justice system as it is. As long as they have a really good case and good evidence, it'd be good if she got arrested, but I don't want her getting arrested just because we think she needs to be arrested.
They need to start with the IRS.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I got to get, I got these cats behind my green screen back here. So
naughty little kitties.
His cats, he said, are named Nosy and Jinxie.
Yeah.
I saw yours flying around. I saw yours as well today, Ren. Your new one, please.
Oh. They're so ridiculous. She's changed the name 3 times. So I don't even remember at this point. I believe she went from Lucky and Jewel, and then now she is she named the black one Mystic, and the gray one, I know, right? The gray one is named Moon. Mystic, because she looks like a wolf.
Oh,
Mystic
Mystic Moon.
It's
That's
cute.
so cute.
I know, right? I was like, can we just decide on this one and just not change it again? So
Little
I'm just
cutie.
looking in the chat to see
So
if
will
there's
the other one become Ren eventually, like I suggested?
I
Someone's gone
tried
Robert.
to get her to do Mystic and Ren or Nosy and Jinxie or whatever, but she was like, Mom. So I was like, okay, never mind.
Sorry. It's like I have kids here running around.
Yeah, we slept all right because the new ones last night, but she kept them in her room and I didn't hear them, so I was great.
Bonus. So, Ripper, you've just recently been to Florida.
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Florida was great, and something that I didn't expect is Tampa is like, when you think of people from the South, like Alabama, Mississippi, like that kind of South, that's what Tampa is like. Yep,
Right.
really, really nice people. It's like Southern hospitality to a T. But then if you go further south, down like Miami, it's a totally different world. But Tampa's a really nice place. The people are really nice. I didn't go to any beaches. I didn't have time to go to any beaches. I drove by one on the way to somewhere. And I mean, I would have loved to have gone like fishing or just swimming, but I never got to do that. But it was great.
How long were you up there for?
24 days. I was there for 24 days. But the people are really nice, and I did get to talk to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people off the record.
Yeah.
And I can't say
Anyone you can tell us about?
no, because they were they didn't want to be on camera. They didn't want to be quoted.
No.
Oh yeah, off the record.
And isn't that how a lot of people feel? Aren't a lot of people scared to talk because of Carole?
There are some people that are scared to talk because of Carole, but there's
Why?
also
What does she have over them? What?
Well, people in the exotic animal world, Carole has connections to certain people. If you have animals and you speak up against Carole, there's a chance that you could lose your permits for some of your exotic animals. So that's one reason people are scared of her. Another reason is she likes to sue people, apparently, for whatever. So those are two things. But
is it just me who's going? Are you guys going funny on there?
But one of the things that a lot of these people don't realize is if she sues you, there's a discovery process, and you get to ask other people questions too. Like, for instance, if she were to sue, let me think. Well, if say she wanted to sue me.
Yeah.
Well, I could go through a discovery process and I would get to subpoena certain people. But, I would want to subpoena Kenny Farr, Jamie, her daughter, Howard. I'd want to subpoena a lot of people that I want to talk to. So Carole also has to be careful as to who she's going to sue, because it could backfire on her. But I don't think anyone should be scared of her anymore.
No.
Well, that's why people have to group together if they are scared of her, isn't it?
Because I know you said like it would be good if they could all come together.
Right. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah. And were you surprised? So the people that did come forward and speak to you, were you surprised that more people did speak to you?
There was some that were borderline, and there's a couple that I still want to talk to that I think are on the fence. But there was one person that came and met with me basically in the cover of darkness and
Yeah.
they showed up for like 5 minutes, and they gave me so much information, and then they were just gone. Like, they came up and they just rattled off, you need to know this, 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 and this, and this is here, and this is here, and this, and then they said something, and they showed me their credentials.
Yeah.
And then they were gone. They just walked away, and I was just like, whoa. I was like, wait, come back. And I was on my crutches. So I was like, wait, come back. And they just kept going, and they were gone. So I went back, I grabbed my notebook, and I'm just writing notes as fast as I can.
Yeah.
So I could remember everything that they said. But that was pretty incredible, because the information they gave me, it's really good information. And then I kept waiting for them to come back, but they never did. But maybe they will when I go back again.
Yeah.
But at least you've got that information.
Come forward.
Oops.
Oh,
we keep losing
there went Ripper.
Sorry.
But no, people are excited. Like, they're so thankful to come forward and talk to us. Like, it is literally a full-time job with just the private messages and the notifications and people sending information and people asking questions. It literally, from the time I wake up, and we have people from all over the world, so it's nonstop, and they have been wanting to come forward, but they're scared, or they know better and that kind of stuff. And so, we don't live there, just kind of like everyone in the man world. We don't live there, so we're going to keep on keeping on.
Go for it. Yeah.
Carole can't come after us for anything. And literally what's crazy is everything that we're finding documents wise, it's just been there. Just like in the other cases, it's just there.
Yeah. And
no one ever looked.
This has been going on what is it? How many years is it now? Like 23 years. And so some people have like living in fear for all this time. I bet they're glad to be able to have a voice now to come forward, even if they don't want to, even if they want to remain anonymous. I mean, as for for the family, and what was it like meeting the family and Anne McQueen? I bet
meeting the family was like wonderful.
Yeah.
And meeting Anne McQueen. Anne McQueen is so nice.
Like, I know. I love her on the documentary.
She's so nice, so sweet, and she misses her friend.
Yes. And you can see that with Anne. You can see she's such a genuine lady. You can just see she just wants she just wants to know where her friend is, and it's so sad. It's so sad.
That's why it's a great thing that you guys are doing, because you're being the voice for the people who've been too scared, and you're being the people who are trying to dig and find out all this information that has been has been under a rock for the past 20 odd years. Yeah. Like, it needs to happen, like, to get justice, not just in this story. Like,
hey, while we're talking, there's someone in the chat talking. This Sasha Dent.
You beat me to it. I was just about to say
go ahead.
that.
Go ahead, Nosy.
No, you do it. I can't look and read the comments and talk at the same time.
I'm just going to say, when I was talking about people in the group that have good information and are good researcher, Sasha has given us some really good information. Sasha is one of those people in the group that if you say don't share this, she won't share it. But she is
amazing.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah. And her question on the screen is very, very true. The only person that has come out and defended Carole is Jamie, her daughter, for whatever reason. I don't know. Yeah. Well, he's got to, he's tied into the money.
He's under duress.
He's on
a leash.
She has old photos of, like Christmas, but none of these people from what I've seen are coming out and standing up for her or defending her or anything like that. So I agree with Sasha very much that that's a very telling thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And didn't Jamie, am I right in thinking she lived in a trailer at 12 years old?
Yeah.
So away from, that's strange.
Yes, and what is even more strange about that is Carole found it strange that Dawn was upset by it. She in her video, one of them, she talked about how she thought Dawn was so weird because it made him so mad, and Jamie didn't live in the same house, and to her it was completely normal and natural. And she said Dawn would get mad about it, but then she turns around in another video and talks about how much Dawn hates Jamie. So
yeah, well, she accuses him of all kinds, doesn't she? But I wouldn't let my 14-year-old live in a trailer, never mind a 12-year-old. I don't know.
He was mad that she wasn't
weird.
living there.
No,
It's just weird.
not to mention the fact that
he's now having to
Do
pay.
it. And not to mention
Sorry, go
that
ahead.
Carole was.
Oh, go on.
No, it's fine. I was just saying it's the fact that Carole let her live alone in a trailer at that age, but at the same time, Carole also knew that she was having these, we'll just call them special parties for friends, when the old man was out of town. No, you didn't, Ripper.
I've been saving it.
What is it?
No, but and that to me, like, I'm a mom. You guys, I mean, y'all are parents, and y'all think about it. Like, I know, so I'm going to do some stuff and have some friends over, but my daughter is alone in a trailer. So to me, it just doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Well, he's paying for 2 households too. I mean, she wanted Jamie to continue to live on her own. It costs money to, run the electric in a secondary home, and air conditioning that she wanted to replace. That Don was not happy with her replacing the air conditioning and heating in Jamie's home. Those are all extra expenses that if they all lived in one home, they wouldn't have all those expenses. So I could see why Don was upset about her living in a trailer of her own for that reason alone, just because of the extra expense.
Yeah.
Just looking through these comments.
Are you guys having like the sound going funny, like cutting off in between?
It did go funny on Nosy.
I can hear everybody.
Oh, okay. It keeps going a bit fuzzy for me. I wonder if it's my internet.
No, I heard it too.
Okay.
I think it was wind behind Nosy. I heard it too.
Rare. Oh, maybe. Well, it might be my air conditioner. I'm in my car.
Oh,
I'm in my car. My patio is just too dang hot.
is it? I thought it was to get away from the kids run.
I mean, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the dog, the cats, the kids, the TVs, and the tablets. So yeah, there was no way I was about to be on a live and it'd be quiet.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I hide in my car a lot.
Hey, Lisa K asked, why can't they freeze her accounts until this is sorted out?
There's no charges.
No.
Right. There is nothing yet that would justify that, but that doesn't mean that there's not something coming down the line that would cause those accounts to be frozen.
Oh my God. Ripper, there's a comment in the thing for you.
I see it and I'm not responding to it. But let me just say it wasn't the tiger. I'll just say that.
Oh God. Moving on.
Yeah. You don't need to go there.
So earlier on you mentioned about the law firms who were interested. Jane was telling me something earlier about that there's a law firm that's offering pro bono legal aid to anyone who comes forward. Like, do you know if that's I mean, are you allowed to say anything about that? Like,
I'll let the girls talk about that.
okay. You know, if anyone's come forward, if you can say anything.
You're the one who, I don't know if anybody came forward, but there is an open invitation for somebody who wants to come forward if they have information and might find themselves in a legal situation, giving that information.
Yeah.
We're hoping that it's at least one of 3 people
Well, yeah.
at some point.
Because that's you met with. It was the law firm. The lady from the law firm you met in Florida. Did she come to you? Did she?
No, she didn't come to me. That was part of our plan, was to find an attorney that would represent someone pro bono if they were to come forward.
Yeah.
So we reached out to them,
Yeah.
and she had already known about the case, so she was perfect for it. But what we wanted was for an out for someone, so that if like say Kenny Farr, Susan, or Jamie, one of those 3 people, there's an attorney at a high profile law firm just waiting to help them, because out of those 3 people, one of them will eventually talk, and the first one to come forward is going to get the best deal.
And who do they have to contact? Like, would they contact you guys, or do they like? They
can contact the attorney. If they contact me, that's fine too. If they contact me, I will.
Because they're not likely to know who the attorney is. Like,
I will put them in contact with the attorney. They should know, because in the video it's there.
It's all there. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. The Tampa Bay Times will be running a story pretty soon also, and they're going to have that attorney information in that story when that comes out also. So I think when that comes out, someone's going to need to come forward, or it's going to be too late.
I could add 2 more people to that list of 3. I'd make it 5. I'd add Doug on there and Sandra.
delete.
I don't know.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't say anything. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
What was that? You're breaking up then.
Yeah. Go a bit quiet.
Oh gosh. Here's, and that's fine, because not everybody, but a lot of people do know. But Doug and Sandra, we haven't talked about a whole lot.
No.
But there is a time pretty soon their names are going to come up. And I was just hoping that someone like Kenny Farr or Susan would come forward first, because I think that they probably know more than others, and I would rather them not get caught up in something that, they had to do because they were scared or they were pressured into doing. So I would rather them come forward first. But if they don't come forward, there are other people out there that we can put pressure on and start putting information out that shows that these people also knew what was going on. But we'd rather not do that if we don't have to. But we can. We have the information. We have the information already.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandra did say she didn't remember the will or the power of attorney. She said, I was the housekeeper.
Yeah. Right. So we did talk a little bit before about your live the other night with the candidate. Well, he's a candidate, isn't he? Upcoming for sheriff, Charles Boswell. And from what I saw, well, I think from what everyone saw the live, but he seems like a really good stand-up guy, and it seems like he does want justice for the family as well. So how can, I'll let you talk a bit about it because you know more, but how can people help? Because he's running against Chad Chronister. And am I right in thinking Chad Chronister has got a lot of money and sources behind him? So
yes. So Chad is the current sheriff right now. Chad's father-in-law used to own the San Francisco 49ers, the football team.
Oh, okay.
And his father-in-law, I think, is worth about $658 million or something like that. So $500 million. Yeah. Wow. So his father-in-law has a lot of money. His father-in-law in February was pardoned by Donald Trump for bribery, some kind of bribery scheme or something. So not that Chronister has connections, but his wife's family has connections and has a lot of money.
Yeah.
So Chronister has those same connections.
Yeah.
Charles Boswell, on the other hand, he's just like a blue collar guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a hard worker. He believes in the Constitution.
Yeah.
When he was supposed to, he was pressured into going into court and lying under oath, and he wouldn't do it.
No.
And that's pretty rare for, you know, you have but we know with the Stephen Avery case, we know that law enforcement, they will lie for their coworkers, for their brothers in blue. Mm-hmm. This guy did not. He said, I'm not going to do it because what happened to this girl was against the law, and I'm not going to go lie about it.
And that's who you want as your sheriff.
Yes.
Someone who's going to do that no matter what.
Right. You want someone that's going to serve the public, not serve public servants. They're there to serve the public.
Rather than themselves.
Yeah. And by him doing that, they started retaliating against him. But if you go to, I think it's voteforcharlesboswell.com. It's his website.
I'll put the links in the description.
And he has a Facebook page.
Yeah.
And you really need to follow his Facebook page because he puts out information. Like, for instance, I guess Sheriff Chronister did some stuff to try to undermine Charles Boswell just like a week ago. And he used taxpayer dollars to do it. For his campaign, he paid for it with taxpayer dollars. And then I'll tell you another thing. I don't know if you remember maybe a month ago in Florida that there was a preacher that got arrested for having church service during COVID-19. Do you remember the preacher that got arrested for having church service? It made national news.
I didn't see that.
Well, that was down in the Tampa area. That was in Hillsborough County. And that was a deal that Chronister was behind. They arrested this preacher for having church service. And it was on national news, and Chronister talked about it. Well, they arrested him for this ordinance that the ordinance could not be enforced legally. But they went ahead and arrested him for it. And supposedly Chronister knew it couldn't be enforced. But he arrested him for it, went on national news and talked about it. Well, then the preacher filed a civil lawsuit against Chronister. Chronister got a letter of intent that he was going to be sued. Chronister goes over to the preacher's house for lunch to try to work this thing out with him. They take pictures. Anyway, but Charles put all that stuff on his Facebook group. So you need to follow his group because you have a sheriff who went out and arrested somebody, went on national TV and talked about it. And then he finds out he's getting ready to get sued by someone that's facing charges. And he goes to their house. Like, he goes over and has lunch with them to try to talk this over. So if anybody out there needs something to do, you might want to look into donations to this church and see if Chronister's wife's foundation has donated to this church. Because I'm assuming there's going to be a big donation pretty soon. And then the preacher is going to drop the charges against the county or the sheriff or whatever. But it would be interesting to see how that plays out.
Mhm.
But this Charles Boswell guy, he puts all that stuff out there. Like, it's right there. And I met with him for 6.5 hours when I was in Florida. And he's a good guy, and he loves the Constitution. And that's who you need as a sheriff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
If I lived there, I'd vote for him.
Yeah. And that's
I would
what I'm saying.
too.
So what can people do to help to his campaign? I have posted the links in the description for his Facebook page, and I think his Twitter.
His website as well.
Yeah.
I say you go to Chad Cronister's page and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's page. They have one on Twitter. Both of them do. And start promoting vote for Charles Boswell, and so that other people in that area can look, put his Facebook page out there. So other people on Twitter who might not know about the Facebook page can go and read the articles and news about, their current sheriff and how he
and donate if you can donate. If you can, that's what he said the other day, is donate to his campaign.
Where do they go to donate?
To his
that's on his website as well.
Yeah, his website, which is like I think it's voteforcharlesboswell.com. Let me look it up.
Yeah,
I've put that in the description.
Okay.
Well, I'll definitely be tweeting about
So Carol's going to make a video today talking about Ripper. I hope she does.
Saw that.
You slime ball.
Yes, I hope she does. That would be wonderful.
Video today acknowledging Ripper and seeing using comments that keep showing up on her comments that she keeps deleting.
I hope she does.
Oh,
and I'll just say that would be the worst thing that she could do is acknowledge me.
I know.
Because if she acknowledges me, oh man, I'm gonna be like, oh, now let's go. It's on now. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Ring, ring.
Yes. Yes. I hope she does.
Maybe you can get her on a live after she acknowledges you.
Oh, wow.
Oh. If Jimmy Fallon could do it, I can do it too. Oh gosh.
Well, talking of Twitter and stuff like that, when I tagged you in that post yesterday on Twitter, you told me to ask you about several things: the cadaver dogs, ground penetrating radar, and forensic divers. So, do you want to start with the cadaver dogs?
Yeah, I can't talk about that anymore. But
okay, that's fine. Any of those things? Can you talk about any of those things?
No.
No, that's okay. That's all right. No, it's cool. We can move on. We have to delete that bit as well.
I was told last night I can't talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I mean, but I did want to talk about it, but I can't now.
No, that's all right.
Stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah.
What about the septic tank situation? Because I know we touched on that briefly before, but
okay.
She did come out and say
we have someone that's in the comments that Sherry DeWalt that's in the comments here. She was actually a volunteer out at Big Cat Rescue.
Right.
Yes, her. So she was there. Sherry, do you know when the septic system was installed out there for Judy Watson's place? So let's see if Sherry can give us some information about the septic system. Yeah. You know, she's typing right now. She's like, oh, hell yeah, I know.
I'm trying to keep my eye on this because this one's slower, the comments on this one. So I'm just looking on my phone.
No, it's here we
go. But
Sherry just said wildlife on Easy Street at the time.
All right, so she said the weekend Dawn disappeared.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because Carole, in her video that came out, she said, oh, the septic system was put in long before Dawn went missing. But that's not true. It's not true. that septic system was put in the weekend that Dawn went missing. So there would have been opportunity for them to actually bury him under the septic system because it was a hole in the ground that weekend.
Right.
So, as before, you did try to contact Carole while you were out in Florida. You emailed her, you called her about the septic tank.
I'll call her. I'll try to call her right now.
Whoa!
I have her cell phone. I'll call her right now. Let's see if she answers.
Put it on.
Whoa!
I'll put it on speakerphone.
Make sure your phone's on loud, Carole.
I'll put her on speakerphone.
What are you going to say if she actually answers?
Send her the link.
Ask,
Send her
I'll
the
ask
link and
her
get to come on.
if she wants to like go out and have drinks or something. Actually, you know what? I'm going to call Howard instead. Let's call Howard. I
Get
haven't
him
tried.
to come on here. Send him the link.
I haven't tried calling Howard yet. So this is Howard. Can you guys hear it ringing?
Hello.
Hey, Howard. Howard.
Hello. Yeah.
Hey, Howard, it's Ripper here. How are you doing?
I'm sorry. Who's calling?
It's Ripper.
Ripper.
Yes, it's Ripper. I was calling to see if Carole was available to talk.
I don't know who you are.
Well, can you just ask, can you tell Carole Ripper's on the phone? He hung up.
You had it here fast, guys.
He doesn't know who I am. Are you kidding me? I have not worked hard enough.
You should have said it's a slime ball from Facebook.
That's what I should have said. I don't know who you are. Oh, you might want to edit this. You might want to edit that and just make a short little video of that.
Like edit.
That's good stuff right there. But Howard, how do you not know who I am? Is Carole not talking to you? I don't understand.
You're not talking to anybody.
Do you think she has him like tied up in a room someplace? How's he?
Cage.
Yeah, how's he gonna say I don't know who you are? Whatever, Howard. I think he's playing hard to get. Look at Jane. Look at Jane. She's like, oh my gosh.
I couldn't believe you answered the phone.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to go to voicemail or ring out. It's just when he answered the phone, I was just like,
Try Carole now, see if she answers. You know,
Okay.
Howard's been like.
Oh,
And for anyone just tuning in, we're not playing like silly games here.
this is a real deal. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the real deal.
We're actually trying to get communication going.
yeah.
Surprised you.
This is-
And you know, if you've got nothing to hide, pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. Yeah, just
Right.
answer Ripper. Just, you know.
Jane was like,
Oh my God.
yeah, that was good
Just, you know
stuff.
what? Do you know my. Or every time I think of Howard, I just keep thinking of Howard on his dog leash, crouched on the beach like it.
I know, the poor guy.
Glenn Kaczynski would be a perfect match.
I was
'cause
literally- I was gonna
he's
say that.
meowing. Meow, meow.
Oh my God, I was literally just going to say that. Like, why is there always like a strange cat person involved in the story? Little Len. Oh dear.
What? I'm just trying to get rid of.
Oh, that brick wall is a symbol of what's just happened.
I know, yeah. Oh, I'm just trying to find something that's not fuzzy, but
Let me see. I don't know if this is her. I'm gonna make sure this is her right cell phone number. But if she answers, I'll put it on speakerphone.
oh my God. Oh, hang on, my blood pressure.
Refills, Jean.
Milo, stop.
You think he's telling Carole right now, this guy Ripper just called me?
Mm.
Stop.
That's that number. Don't answer it.
Well, she might be watching right now.
Hi, Carole.
Yeah, I should send Howard a text.
That's not Carole.
That's not Carole.
No,
Carol did it, didn't she?
Yeah, all right, so- oh gosh. All right. So that went right to voicemail after it rang a couple times.
Oh, that was.
That was
I can't believe that just happened. That was
Good stuff.
gold,
Yes.
pure gold.
Right, so now we're all so excited about that.
Oh,
We've been thrown off track.
All right, let's see. Let's see if this one works.
oh,
All right, here we go.
Come on, Carol, answer.
I thought that was her then.
Reach the cell phone of Howard Baskin. Please leave a message and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Thank you.
All right, so that was the number for Howard again, but that's not the same one. He must have multiple numbers.
For all of his multiple.
No, he has. So
Unless you redirected it to him.
he has his name on her voicemail. That's what it is. Because he answered that number I just called is different.
Maybe he's got more than one cell because doesn't he harass people for Carol?
Oh, maybe
Just
so.
one to be on the phone, one to text.
Maybe so.
Right, so we've got loads of people watching. So what can people do who might not know? Like, what can people do to help with this case? Like, do you need people to
join the group and start looking at records? I mean,
join the Facebook group?
yep.
Yeah, the link's in the description, isn't it, Jane, for the Facebook group? Yeah. Is there anything like donation wise? Because we were discussing this yesterday, myself and Jane, about them needing donations for their lawyers if they need representation.
I talked to a law firm yesterday that said they would take the case for the family. They are not in the state of Florida, though, but they are a high-profile law firm.
Right.
But they said what they would do is they would do all the work at their office, and then when it came time to do the actual court work, they would basically have another law firm that they kind of hire. But I need to have someone from the family talk to that law firm first and see if they feel comfortable enough doing that. And then if they do, we'll set up a GoFundMe to get that started, because there's some law firms that will work on a contingency, and normally the contingency fees are like 40%.
Right.
And I would just hate to see this family lose 40% of what is rightfully theirs. So if we can help them and raise money, I would rather do that.
Yeah.
Unless there's a law firm that does it for a lower percentage. But I think the way that I want to do that is, once we have the right law firm, instead of doing like what happened with the Stephen Avery case, where there was a fund set up and then people are accusing family members of taking that money and spending it on this and that, I would rather get the law firm set up and then get the GoFundMe set up to go right into an account for the legal stuff. Because I don't want any of the drama in, them saying, it went to so-and-so and they bought, shirts or something. I just don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
And Linda, you're probably right. Howard's probably looking up my number going, he owns a bed and breakfast in Oklahoma. He has a petting zoo. We got to go get him. Put him on the 911 list. We got to get him on the 911 animal abuse. He abuses donkeys.
But they won't just mention how you abuse animals. They'll flat out talk about their vendetta against you.
Right. It'll be personal.
It'll be personal.
Right. Yeah. It's not an animal abuse website. It's a personal, like, we don't like this person. Yeah. It's the stupidest thing.
You'll be up on a billboard soon, Ripper. Your face will be up there.
I should not drink. I should not drink when we do live streams. I'm going to just tell you that right now. I can't believe I called Howard. I don't know who you are. What? What do you mean? Oh, gosh. That's good stuff.
You should have said YouTube. Might have known.
Oh, that's what I should have said. Damn it.
Call back.
It's all right. We'll delete this video when we're finished. We won't really. But...
Oh, it was just classic.
Yeah.
JW, yes, we're talking about a civil suit. Just so you know, under Florida law, there's no statute of limitations when you want to challenge like quit claim deeds or like a trust, different things like that. The family, I believe, can challenge a lot of things in civil court. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about a law firm.
Including the property that Woes or BCR sits on. It would be one of those that maybe possibly under that civil suit, right?
What'd you say?
The quick claim deeds under the Woes. BCR now, that land might also be part of that lawsuit.
Right. Yeah, if it was if the quitclaim deeds are proved to be fraudulent, then they're void from day one, and it would go back to whoever owned it beforehand. So if stuff was in Don's name and it was put in someone else's name with forged signatures, then it could go back to the estate of Don Lewis, which would go back to his 3 daughters and his son. Geeky Pete. Somebody put Geeky Pete's thing up there as question right there. Yes, we're gonna do these right here. We're gonna put Carole's squirt.
Explain about these.
Bottle.
What's with the bottle?
It should say for the mole hole.
the tiger juice. You could do a squirt bottle tiger juice.
Sardine oil.
All right, here I'll tell you. I'll tell you, but
you obviously didn't watch the 4-hour live the other day.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, you have to be 18. You have to be 18
to watch it.
To listen to what I'm getting ready to tell you.
To watch it. This is what's talked about on that.
Yes, what I'm getting ready to tell you, you need to be at least 18 years of age. I got a phone call from someone who said that they used to party with Carole back in like 95, 96. And he said, if you have all right, so over in the UK, you guys have like, well, Little Misty, you're not in the UK though.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Who's, Jane, are you in the UK too? Who's in Australia?
No, you said I was in Australia before.
Oh, that's right. That was my joke.
Yeah.
Let me. Get me another beer. That's right. I kept saying, "Oh, you're from Australia."
Yeah,
right, but you're really not. But yes. All right. So this guy calls me, and he says, "I used to party with Carole. Like there was quite a few of us young guys. When Dawn would go out of town, we would go party with Carole." And he talked about her. And she would call it tiger juice. It was her tiger juice. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm going to say. I would, and then he emailed me like graphic stuff, and I'm not even going to read it, and then he said, this is the way that I can prove my story is real. And then he described a body part and a mole. And that's why you'll hear people making these jokes about the mole hole or Like Pete the other day, Pete the other day made a comment on Carole's YouTube video. He said people are making a mountain out of a molehill, and she responded to it and said, "Indeed." She had no idea. But so if we can get pictures, and there's a mole in the upper right
all the comments as well.
you guys tell the truth.
Oh,
Kenny, that's right. Mike Blackburn. Kenny might know. Kenny just might know. We need to ask Kenny about the mole hole.
Or anybody that knew her in the 90s.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the story. That's what happened. I'm sorry I had to share it with you, but that's the story about the squirt bottle.
Okay.
Oh, I don't even know why I've gone all blurry now. But
It's because of that story.
It's because of the it's the mole. It's because of it's because of the light coming in behind your green screen on your left side.
oh, it is. Yeah.
It's your other left.
Yeah.
It's that light coming in.
I
think
saw a
that's
comment
probably why.
further up from, I think it was from Joey, saying that he was jealous of your man cave.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
man cave. Oh, here, let me move out of the way because I have
I don't know.
I have the top monitor up there. That's an actual monitor. It's not a TV. It's a 51-inch monitor. And then I have that's actually a TV on the lower part for my old school Nintendo. And I have my, like my Xbox and old school Nintendo. And then I have my two turntables over there, my mixer, all my music, my albums. And yeah, it's a great man cave in here.
Have you got stuff on the walls? Have you got stuff pinned to the wall?
Over there. Yeah, I have.
I like to make it dark, or is it just like the wall?
Oh, no, I have on this side is the green. Here, hold on. Let me change the lights and you'll see. Let me change the lights and you'll be able to tell.
Jane, put them on underneath it.
Hold on.
Got special lights.
Yeah, hold on. I have special lights for my squirt bottle. Yeah, hold on here. This is going to go bad, I know. I can just tell.
I'm sure this was just water.
All right, let's see here. All right, that's a little better. All right, so on this side, it's a green screen over here.
Oh, yeah. That's
So,
cool.
and then over here, it's green also in front of me, but you can't see that. And then on the back wall and over on that side, it's that soundproof stuff.
Yeah,
So
I
when
wondered, yeah.
So that's what's on the walls.
That's so cool.
And then, and then we have these lights that, you can change them into like a million different colors.
Just reading the comments.
I'm not reading the comments.
They don't know.
I'm scared to read them, but I'm going to read them now. Hold on here. Oh, no, I get the mold removed. Holy moly. Oh, I got to roll up.
Look at the screen.
On here.
You started it again.
Right, hold on. Where are you guys at? Oh, no. Oh, don't get Jinxie laughing. Don't do it.
I'm laughing.
You guys are horrible.
Well, you need to quit laughing. You're making it worse. Quit laughing.
Ow,
She's like, it hurts. It hurts.
I literally got cramp in my face. Face cramp. Oh man.
Oh
Sleep well
no.
tonight. You know, after you're laughing, you just like.
Oh yeah. There's so many comments. I can't even. You can see the squirt skate. Yeah. So here's my camera or my microphone that looks like a mole. Is what somebody said. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, I nearly choked on camera then. That would be embarrassing.
Oh, Sherry, no.
Too late, Jinx can't breathe.
I know, she's like, it hurts. It hurts. She's laughing. She's like, it hurts. Oh, man.
Yeah. Tracy's just said, oh my God, this has cheered me up. And me. I think we really needed a bit of...
oh, man. Yeah, the man cave is great. I love I have these turntables are from the 80s. I used to do some DJing back in the 80s. So I have where I can go, you know, I can do my scratching. I still have my FUBU suit. Actually, it's hanging in the closet in there. So I could put on my full FUBU gear. Put on the hat on backwards.
Go change.
Yeah, we'll wait here.
Here.
You can mix us a Carole Baskin Did It song.
I'm gonna grab the FUBU jacket. Hold on. This will be old school for a second, because then it give me a chance to get another beer.
Yeah, sorry guys. Just
get rid of my beer cans.
Okay.
Everybody's leaving us.
I'll be back.
Just you and me, Jinx. Oh, that was so funny. I'm really intrigued about what this FUBU jacket's going to be. I've never even heard of one. Have you?
I don't know what he's talking about. So I told him to put it
So
on.
this could go one of two ways, guys. It could go up or down. Either way, it's going to be great. Jory said you look like Vanilla Ice. Oh, okay.
Oh, does he have that hairdo too? Let's get it to stand up.
Oh, it could actually.
We can put a Z in it, or whatever the guy had in the side of his head.
Oh, yeah. He needs to shave a line in his eyebrow as well.
Yeah, that's it. I have one of those for my cat.
Yeah, I've got one here, but it's like right on the line of my eyebrow.
They wanted to pluck my eyebrows. They whacked them. They said, "Why didn't you tell us you had a scar in there? I only had a half an eyebrow." After
Whoops!
Like, thanks.
Ripper's gone to suit up.
He's getting his what did he call it? A FUBU suit?
Yeah. So it's just saying, like, we're on sketchy ground now, Jane. We don't know what he's
got
going
my
to
hair chaps.
What did you say?
What?
Nothing, never mind.
I can't hear what you're saying, but I'm just thinking it's funny because your laugh's amazing.
Jinx has just got the most amazing laugh.
Yeah, somebody just said her laugh is contagious, to say the least. Yeah, I've
Do one of those videos that you
I didn't put it on,
have therapy.
but look, it is the real it's the FUBU gear, no joke.
Okay.
Old school right here.
Oh, I remember that now. The FUBU clothing. That was a clothing line, right?
I think I have a picture. Actually, I have a picture. They're not talking about the mole anymore, are they?
No.
Pardon. No. Well, there might be.
They want you to mix a song about it.
Oh, I could. I probably could actually, because I have the.
You could take that little part from what was that? The third Austin Power movie. Moly, 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 moly. Got to mix that in there.
But it's got to be Jinxie saying it.
I'll be happy to do a voiceover. Moly, 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 moly. I'll even point.
Are you drinking? Are you high right now? What's going on? All right, let's see if you can see.
I'm
This
pleading the
is
fifth.
this is. Yeah, I don't know if I can show this picture. This is not even. This is different FUBU stuff. It's not the same one that I had, but I have dreads.
Well, let's see that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here, hold on. Look. Hold on. Can
That's
see
you?
that? Yes, that's me.
Whoa.
That's me. See the?
All right.
Is that one of those hats with the dreads on it?
That's me back in the 80s.
You didn't really have those dreads, though.
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
It looks like one of those hats you put on with the dreads connected to it.
The Rasta hats.
Oh, I remember shell suits, Tracy.
Oh yeah, I had
Oh,
a shell
gosh.
suit. Mine
I
was
had a
pink.
shell suit. Definitely.
It never fails. We start talking about the mole hole, and the comments just get out of control.
It started with that squirt bottle.
We gotta mark it.
For your fault repair.
We could probably make $1 million if we
You can put Carole on the side. It'd be perfect.
we just put tiger juice. Put tiger juice on it. That'd do it. Look, Jane's writing it down. Squirt bottles,
Where's Jane?
tiger juice.
She's £1 million.
Look, she's still writing. All right, tiger juice. It's my tiger juice. Look at her. She's serious about it.
She's writing up a business plan. Excuse me.
That's a good one, David. David Kobe says that Mohole Baskins. That's actually kind of
Catchy.
it is kind of catchy. Oh gosh. Yeah, Pete, I could have been hanging out at those parties back in the day. You never know. But I wasn't in Florida. Okay, can we get off the mohole and get on to something else, maybe?
Yeah, let's go. Should we go back to the whole reason why we came here?
Yes. Why are we here?
Oh,
Yes.
because we actually made some bullet points about a few topics that we were interested in.
Oh.
One of them, which is the magic van, which seems to appear in every wrongful conviction story.
I know.
So, like with disappearing DNA.
Okay.
So
the van that ended up back at Easy Street. So when Don disappeared, it was found at the
airfield.
Yeah, the airfield.
Mm.
And it was brought back to Easy Street. And the only fingerprints in it, there was one set of fingerprints found, and they were the mechanics. Just sounds all too familiar.
Mm. Yeah.
The thing about that is when Ripper and Rathman did that video, they said that the van wasn't processed until after it was driven home.
So, like in
Whoever
Stephen
drove
Ivory's then?
it home must have wiped it down, because wouldn't their fingerprints be in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I went and talked to the mechanic, and I talked to him and I interviewed him, but I haven't published a video on that yet. And I don't know if I will, because there's some information that he gave me that I don't want out there. I did give it to the sheriff's department, though. And then they're supposed to call him and talk to him. I don't know if they have yet or not. But the mechanic told me that he worked on the air conditioner on that van, and he had to take the whole dash out and put it back in. But his fingerprints were found on the dash, not on the steering wheel or the door. They were found on the dash. So whoever drove that van home, if it was Carole or her dad, Vernon, they had to have wiped it down because their fingerprints weren't found in there. And it's really odd that someone would wipe down a van. Like if
it was Don's van, yeah.
Yeah, Don's prints weren't in there either.
Yeah, this is what I was going to ask. Yeah,
if my spouse went missing and I went and picked up the vehicle and drove it home, I wouldn't have wiped it down. I would have just drove it home, and I wouldn't have thought about wiping it down. So whoever had access to that van wiped it down.
Mm.
And obviously
And-
needed a reason to wipe it down.
Right. Why? Why did they feel like they needed to wipe the fingerprints in that van? That's a good question. That's the $5.8 million question.
Mm.
And also, when it was found, it was only found with his briefcase and his keys on the seat.
I don't. There was supposedly a book that was in there, like a Spanish to English translation book,
But
and
the
the
record-
keys.
How to get away with murder.
That night when the cops did whatever they did, they wrote that little record, and they didn't say anything about any keys or a briefcase or a book in the van. So that was stuff that they must have found when they processed it later, right? I would think.
Yeah, because it wasn't in the report that we have.
So the report that you have, that's the one that they originally wrote when they found the van.
Yes.
So
yes.
Is there a potential for these items to have been added at a later date?
Yes.
Well, right, they could have when they processed it fingerprints after several days. They went back and finally processed it. They might have also found the keys, the briefcase, and then it was that guy who did I think it was on Fox. It was an interview, and he actually is showing you the van, and he's talking about the Spanish to English dictionary also being in there, but I haven't seen that in any report yet.
And as Sherry says, it didn't have a license plate on it.
That's also like Stephen Ivory's case.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Like, is it the same people that've just gone to Florida and done the same thing?
Was it Andy Coburn? Was it Andy? What was Andy?
Yeah, Andy.
Does Andy have an alibi for August 1997? Where was he?
No, maybe this. Maybe that's,
Oh no, he was just getting his start in the police department there. He had just gotten that call in 95 and got himself fired.
Maybe that's why he got the call. He's going away from this one. Going
Like
over
the
to that
cop
one.
now, you got to go take the plates off of that van and hide it.
Well, JW's just brought up the great point about the cell phone, because that was another thing we were going to mention, because it was well known that Don didn't go anywhere without his cell phone. And so why would she have the cell phones cut off? Was it a few days after he disappeared?
She turned off the cell phone on September 20. I think it's September 28th. Or wait, no. I think it's September 18th. It was like 1 day short of 1 month from when he was reported missing. So I think it was September 18th, 1997. So just basically 1 month after he went missing, she shut his cell phone off.
Mm. And like, why would you do that because potentially that could have been his only way to contact.
Well, I'll tell you why you do it.
And then Carole ends up with the cell phone. How is that?
The reason you do it is because Anne McQueen kept calling the cell phone. Anne kept calling Don's cell phone, trying to find out where he was.
Yep.
And Carole probably got tired of her calling the cell phone, so she went and disconnected it. Instead of just turning the cell phone off, she probably just went and disconnected it. I don't know.
Mm.
But Carole told Anne that she had. Oh, wait, hold on. Anne's in our chat right now.
I've just seen
Hi,
that.
Ann.
Hi,
Okay, so Anne says September 9th. Anne, are you saying September 9th is when the phone was shut off? Because I thought it was the day after the co-conservatorship thing was ruled on. So was that ruled on September 8th then? 27 Retro Days says, hello, Anne McQueen. We all love you. And I had a conversation with Anne last night, and Anne is such a great person. And the fact that Carole tries to discredit her every chance she gets, speaks volumes. Carole knows.
Thanks for coming here, man.
Carole knows that Anne has some really good information. So Carole's always trying to discredit Anne. She's done it since day one with saying Anne tried to embezzle all this money. Carole knows that Anne is an important part to this whole thing.
Look at them. Look over here. Look up there. Look over at the cat. Look at this thing. Stop looking at me. I don't want you to look at this case because look over there. You know, that's how I see her. She's trying to
let me cycle down the road.
She's trying to change the narrative by putting it onto someone else instead of them asking her questions about what matters, which would be where is Don?
Yeah, so the phone was disconnected the day after the co-conservatorship was done. So if it was done September 8th, then the phone was disconnected September 9th. I thought it was a little bit later than that, but it doesn't really matter if it was 2 months later. Like before I left to go to Florida, I told my wife, I said, if I go missing, don't disconnect my phone. Like that's one of the last things I said to my wife, because it's so like it would be my lifeline. Like that's how people would get a hold of me. So why would you disconnect my phone?
Why would Carole, she have it at all? Why wasn't it on Don? He's missing.
If I went missing, whoever had my phone, they're responsible for it, because my phone is always with me. Like if I'm doing a physical activity, my phone is probably like strapped to my back or like I'm filming something. Like my phone is always close to me. So if I go missing, whoever has my phone, they're responsible for it.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
So and don't believe everything she says. Oh wait, she's talking about me. I thought she meant, that's a typo. She means she. Don't believe everything she says about me. I know you're not talking about me like that, Anne.
No.
Anne, I'm drinking a beer for you. I don't have tequila, but I'm drinking beer for you. Anne is a huge tequila drinker. She loves it. She shoots it up, actually.
And that's too many of them. Somebody take that beer off him.
What he says.
I can't wait. My phone's probably going to ring, or I'm going to message. I'll get a message from her here in a second.
Did Don's phone work in Costa Rica back then, or did he have a separate one there?
Well, Anne told me that when Don would go to Costa Rica, he would call her. He would call her every day. And even if he was in Costa Rica and he had to call her collect, he would call her. But I don't know if his phone worked there, but he would call from Costa Rica to Anne every day.
Yeah.
I think that's
one of the big reasons why when, she hadn't heard from him, that was very telling for him, because she's used to being in contact with him all the time. He always got back to her.
Right. That's what she says, is that he always got back. I think I should call Anne and we should have a conversation with her. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
If I call Howard, I should be able to call Anne. Let's call Anne. Anne, you better answer when I call. Don't say I don't know you. I don't know who you are.
Block his number.
I don't know who you are.
I don't know any Ripper.
Here we go. I don't know who you are.
Hi, Ripper.
Anne, you're on the air.
Hi, Anne.
You guys made me cry earlier.
What?
You guys made me cry earlier.
Oh, what did we do? What was it about?
About how sweet I am. I told y'all not to believe everything Ripper tells y'all.
Oh, you are. You are sweet. Everybody loves you. Are you kidding me?
I think you're phone happy today.
I am feeling pretty good right now. I think I'm getting a good little buzz right now.
Yeah, well, I think I told you that I quit drinking when I was 21 years old. So
I'm going to drink for you. Everybody, let's drink for Anne.
I've got my water in.
Take a shot of tequila for me, yes.
No, you don't want me on tequila. It won't be good. I'll be calling Howard like, how the fuck you don't know me? Oh.
That was live, Ripper.
Don't worry.
Sorry.
But getting no, take that beer.
Howard.
Am I really on the air? I'm watching you on my phone, so now
Yeah.
I can see you.
Yeah, everybody can hear you. I'm holding the phone up to the microphone.
Oh wow! Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Ann.
Yeah, they're all saying we love you, Ann.
Drunk darling Ann. That's what Tammy's
And make sure you listen to Ripper. He's the bad. Well, they didn't say that. I'm making that part up, but yeah, they oh, someone says I'm drunk dialing you. That could be true.
My goodness. Yeah, you're right about the phones the day after the conservatorship was set up, and I don't remember what day that was. I thought it was the 9th of September.
I'll be right back.
But you might be right about it being the 18th.
Yeah, I thought it was
the 27th.
actually, I thought it was the 17th. Because it seems like to me that it was like 29 days after he went missing, she disconnected the phone. But it doesn't matter if it was the 9th or the 19th, the 18th, or whatever. It was less than a month. It's bad.
So I have a question for you.
Okay, Jane has a question for you.
So you know when Anne got the page at the time?
Hold on, I'll tell you what she says. Hold on, Ann.
So when Anne got the pager at the time to get called to the office where Kenny and Carole had broken in.
About you're asking about the call when the office got broken into?
Yeah, so when Anne got to the office,
the day that the office got broken into, I did not. I had called Madeline and told her not to come in. That I was going to meet with two of the detectives at the sheriff's department in Ybor City. Yeah. And Carole called me about 8:30 and asked me where I was at, why I wasn't at the office, and I told her that I was at the sheriff's department. And approximately 30 minutes later, I got a phone call from ADT that said that the alarm was going off, and I told him, I said, well, I can't go there. Go ahead and dispatch TPD. And a few minutes later, we got a call, I got a call back from ADT and said that TPD was there and that it was the wife and that it was a civil matter. They couldn't stop her from entering the premises.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of where I was going. Okay. So she said it was a civil.
Hold on, she said that's where she was kind of going. Yeah. Hold on, she's going to tell me, and then I'm going to repeat what she says. I have to translate because she's from the UK. It takes a second.
Yeah, it was just the fact of so she was allowed just to go in because she was the spouse. And she was allowed to take everything.
Okay, so she's asking basically like she was allowed to go in and take everything because she was the spouse.
That is correct. They said she was a spouse and it was a civil matter. And by the time that Detective Lingo and I got to the office, I'm not sure exactly how much later, but by the time that Detective Lingo and I got there, everything was gone. The phones, the computers, the file cabinet with all the financial records, everything was gone.
What about your chair that Dawn had bought you?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask.
Yes, she took my chair that Dawn had bought me for my birthday that year because I was having some back problems. She took that. There was a pistol in my drawer. There was a pistol in Dawn's drawer, and then there was a sawed-off shotgun that also was
They took
gone.
those guns too, huh?
Yes. The pistol Don had given me right after he had gotten robbed a few years, it was several years, I think it was like 88 that he got robbed. And right after that, there was a pistol in his drawer, one in my drawer, and then the sawed-off shotgun. And I don't know if I could have ever shot anybody or not. It was a big gun. the pistol was, and I'm certain I couldn't have shot that sawed-off shotgun. But at any rate, both of those were given to me, and she took those. But you know, that's all right. I've never been a real big gun person. Well, not until I am now. I'm pretty good. I have to say.
That's good to know. Hey, Carole, she's a big gun person now, just so you know. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my camera. But hey, can you tell us?
I'm married to a West Virginia hillbilly. So
Jim's the West Virginian hillbilly.
Jim is my West Virginia hillbilly. You can ask any West Virginia. They're like Texas. I don't think anybody up there, you know, you're born and you're given a gun up there.
I'm just going to tell everybody, the fact that Jim is married to Ann McQueen, I'm going to say he's one tough person. Because although Ann is really sweet, she is super sweet, and we all love her. And Ann has, I've seen the look that Ann can give, and you don't want to be on the other end of that when she gives you that look. Because I did, let me just tell you, and I can't say too much, and Ann, don't say anything, like don't give anything away. But I was doing an interview with Ann. Nobody has seen it, but it was being filmed, and I kept asking Ann, and a lot of people don't know this, but some people do. But Don went missing. He was reported missing on Monday, and then Tuesday, Carole came into the office, right? It was the Tuesday after he was reported missing. She came into the office and sat in there and went through the same folder, you know, like for hours. And I asked you if on Tuesday morning when she came in, if she asked you if you had seen or heard from Dawn. And you said, no, she didn't ask me that. Do you remember when I asked you about that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said she came in Wednesday morning, and I interrupted you and I said, oh, at what point on Wednesday morning did she ask you if you had seen or heard from Dawn? And you said she didn't ask me that. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay. And then you said she came in on Thursday morning and she sat down at the desk, and I said, oh, whoa, back up. And I said, when she came in the door, did she ask you about, you know, if you had seen or heard from Dawn? And you didn't say anything. You just gave me this look. Do you remember that?
I remember you mentioning it. I do remember that, yes. My children have always said that my looks have always scared them more than, and I don't understand it. I don't think that I don't know. My children have always said that my looks have always scared them more than their daddy coming home.
I'll just tell everybody that she looked at me, and it was, I knew that she had had enough at that point. So I'm just going to say she's a really sweet lady.
Yeah.
But if you cross the line with her, you would, I just wouldn't want to cross the line with her. I mean, I was doing it intentionally because I wanted to know, like, at which point did Carole ask Ann McQueen, have you seen Dawn or heard from him after he had been missing? And Ann, can you tell us, when did Carole ask you, like, have you seen Dawn or have you heard from him? When did she ever ask you about that?
Carole has never asked me if I've heard from Dawn.
So he had been missing for like a week, and she never asked you if you had heard or seen him.
And how long? And how?
No, she never called me. She never asked me.
Right, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Especially because how long was Ann executive assistant for? How long has she known him?
How long has Ann known Dawn? You worked for Dawn for 18 years, right?
I first started driving for him. It was probably the late 70s or the early 80s. I'm thinking more like the early 80s that I drove for him for about a year and a half.
Can you tell people, when you say you used to drive for him, what do you mean by driving?
I drove a semi-truck.
How about, does anybody know that Ann used to drive a semi-truck? I bet you guys didn't know that, did you? They're all looking like, what? So you had a commercial driver's license?
I did.
You could drive an 18-wheeler?
I could, yes.
Anne's
See,
a
she-
I did it for about, I think I did it for about 7 years.
How
I
about
think
that?
that's roughly
How about that, everybody? So Anne's driving semi trucks, and she used to drive for Dawn. Do you want to talk about Sherry DeWalt said Anne is a badass, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you met Dawn?
yeah, I went down and I had lost my job working for commercial carrier because I had an accident, and it was my fault. So I was looking for a job, and I went down to his place of business on the corner of 62nd and Broadway, and I talked to at that time, her name was Dorothy, the lady that was running the office, and I applied for a job, and Don hired me, and I drove a truck for him for it was a year and a half, maybe, roughly, before I quit.
And then what happened after that?
Well, it was late 83 or early 84 that Gail called me, and Gail is Don's daughter that she
The
had
baby?
taken over.
She's
Yeah.
the baby, the favorite.
Yes,
I'm just kidding, Gail.
She was the baby. At any rate, Gail called me and said to her that Don wanted. I can't remember the exact way that Gail put it, but he wanted to talk to me about working in the office. And when I first talked to Gail about it, I'm like, I don't know how to do this kind of stuff. And she said, "Sure, Daddy thinks that you can do it." And she says, "I'll help you." And that's whenever I started working in the office.
How was your can we talk about how you were doing at that time?
How I was doing? In
Yeah,
what
like-
way? What do you mean?
Yeah, just like life in general, like how things were going for you.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Like how life was going for you, how things were going, like in your life at that time.
Well, I was in a custody battle with my ex-husband for my daughter.
So things were not real good for you at the time, and
No, I had to make a choice. I had to my job hunt was my job hunt went from driving a truck where I would be gone and out of town to looking for something that I could do, and I probably would have maybe went back to bartending if it hadn't been for Gail and Don. Yes, I was a bartender also in my earlier years.
there's nothing wrong with being a bartender. Bartenders are needed. There's a lot of people that need good drinks
We've all
made.
done that.
Hey, I made good money. I was little and cute back then.
You're still little and cute. What are you talking about? I have pictures to prove it.
Oh yeah, you better not post them. But
No.
I had to make a choice between driving a truck, which I love because I met a lot of people and different people in that life. But I was looking for a job when Gail called me, and I didn't have the education really to do things that Gail did. But Gail and Don over before Gail had gotten pregnant, and she wanted to go.
How did
home
that
and-
happen?
I don't know. I'm not gonna go there.
Thank you, Anne.
Why that she was leaving, and that was the reason why Don wanted me down there. But through Gail and Don's patience and tutelage.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but someone said bartending is a legit job. Hooking on Nebraska Avenue, not so much. Okay, but go ahead. Sorry. I didn't want to forget that, but go ahead.
But through Gail's patience, and Gail's great. You couldn't ask for a better teacher, and I'm not quite sure how she taught me how to do the book, but I learned through her, and I learned a lot of stuff through Don. Don taught me how to read and write contracts and read and do mortgages and stuff. And,
so the guy that didn't know how to read taught you how to read contracts?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Gee whiz.
The guy that read 3 newspapers every day.
Yeah.
The guy
Interesting.
that searched through. Yeah, the guy that, I mean, we had subscriptions to 3 different newspapers, and they were delivered to the office, and he sat there, and in fact, that's what he was doing the day that he got robbed, was he had gotten there earlier. He had gotten there early, and he was actually reading the newspaper whenever the guy knocked on the door, and he made the foolish mistake of opening the door to the guy.
And that was the when the guy like broke his face, basically. He robbed him, but he didn't take his briefcase. He took his wallet and took his driver's license and all that stuff. Okay.
Right. Don said that the guy held the gun on him and asked for his wallet, and he tried to give him just the money that was in there. He didn't want to give him his wallet. I think mostly because he had a $500 bill. $500 bills are very rare, but the guy insisted that he give him his wallet, and Don had kind of sort of slipped his briefcase underneath the desk, so the guy didn't see the briefcase. And what was not well known was that Don had a faux bottom to that briefcase. And
how much money was in it?
There was a little over $200,000 in the briefcase in cash. But Don said that he was compliant with the guy until he tried to make him go into the closet, and he said that he just felt like if he went into the closet, that the guy was going to shoot him, and that's whenever he fought back, and that's when this guy pistol whipped him about his head and his face. When Mr. Baker and I got there, Don was bleeding all over the place, and didn't want us to call the paramedics, didn't want us to call the police. But eventually he gave in, and I can't remember. I think that I called Gladys and told her what had happened. I don't remember the rest of that day. I just remember Mr. Baker and I getting there about the same time and finding Don in the condition that he was in.
Do you remember what year that was?
I think Donna seems to think that it was 1988.
So he was dating Carole at that time.
Yes, he was.
Do you think Carole knew about that robbery?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think she was responsible for it or anything?
No.
Hold on, Jinxie has a question. I don't know why she's asking questions, but what, Jinxie?
So did they catch the guy?
Did they catch the guy?
No, they never caught him, and they never found his wallet.
Okay, here's a question. Do you know of Sandra, or did you ever see Sandra doing notary work? Or did you just know her as a housekeeper?
I don't ever remember meeting Sandra, period.
Okay.
I may have seen her one time, but then I cannot swear to that. I can tell you that she never came to our office, and I can tell you, well, like I said, if I saw her, it might have been one time. I didn't go out to Easy Street that much. It wasn't my thing. So.
Hey, Mikey, who is she dating? All right, so Mikey Taylor's saying in '88, Carole was dating 2 other people. I'm going to find out who the other people were. I don't know if Roy Persons was one of them,
I believe
or
he was.
someone else. Do you know who she was dating in '88? You might not know.
I think they're right about it being Roy Persons. I think that he was the guy that she was seeing at the time.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure that it is that guy because they were doing real estate deals in Pinellas County
Did I lose you?
in like
No, I'm
87,
here, Ann.
88. So that was probably around that time.
Hey, and you knew Kenny, right?
I did.
Yeah, and you got along with Kenny, right?
For the most part.
Yeah, I mean, like he was a nice guy, right?
I thought so. I irregardless of what you say about me, I can be a little bit mean. Whenever it comes to the drivers not doing what they were supposed to do, or somebody not doing what they were supposed to do, but Kenny, I know, I remember chewing Kenny out a couple of times. I don't ever remember Kenny being ugly to me.
Right.
Not ever.
Yeah, I haven't heard very many people say anything bad about Kenny. Like a lot of people that I've talked to said that Kenny was a really nice guy, and a lot of people are going to look at me like, oh, what? But I mean, a lot of people have told me they knew Kenny and they were friends with Kenny, and he was a really nice guy. But you remember him as like he was a nice guy, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Like I said, he never ever spoke back to me, never talked back to me.
Right. Yeah. And he wouldn't have talked back to Don or anything like that. Like Don was his boss, and if Don told him to do something, he'd do it. Right. Probably.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, there's no way that he would have talked back to Don.
Yeah.
No way.
Right. And I know you've heard the stuff about this Mexican Mike guy. Do you know who Mexican Mike is?
I do not.
Okay. I think I know who it is. And I'm going to tell these girls who it is because it's something that I've learned just in the last 2 days. And I haven't talked about it yet, but anyway, and I didn't mean to call you. I've had some beers, and I guess I drunk dialed you and Howard. And I hate to put you in the same category as Howard as on my drunk dialing list, but I did dial you last night when I was sober. So you're not in the same category as Howard. We got to get a good nickname for Howard. You think we can get people? Come on, people. We got to get a nickname for Howard.
All I can think of is Howard the Duck.
I don't have a nice one.
No, and you can't do it. You can't make a nickname. It can't be you. It's got to be somebody else. You can't do it because you're our sweet Ann. You can't do it.
Call him Len after Len Kaczynski.
Did you watch the video that I sent you last night?
Hey, you're still on this live stream, by the way.
Don't talk about that video.
What video?
No, I haven't. I have not had time to check my messages on Facebook.
Shame on you.
I know, but I've been real busy. I had to do some things today. So anyway,
if you listen to that, you'll understand why my attitude has changed a little bit.
Okay. Hey, can you okay. All right. What's the name of the song? Because there's a lot of people listening right now. They're like leaning forward, like their ears to the speakers. What's the name of the song that you're talking about?
Fear is a liar.
Fear is a liar. Okay. So everybody out there, listen to the song called Fear is a Liar. All right. And I'm going to let you go so you can go back and watch the
Bye, Anne.
The broadcast. And do you guys, Misty or Jane, do you have any more questions for sweet Ann?
No.
No, they love you. I'm just going to tell you, Ann, everybody loves you.
Talk to us, Ann.
We think you're a really special person, and I'm sorry for what happened to you. And I've told you this before, but I'm sorry for what happened to you and this family because it's a tragic story, and you are a victim just as the daughters and Gladys were victims also. So I'm sorry.
That she needs as well.
Yeah.
Don't get all mushy on me and make me start crying. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to hang up on y'all.
All right. Talk to you later, Ann. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh,
I know it's so sad, isn't it?
Thank you for calling, Ripper. I know it was a drunk dial, but It was the
You guys-
best fun part ever.
You guys got some good information, though. I mean, it's good.
I bet
It's
why
oh, you
haven't-
know what? I forgot to ask her about the phone. Hold on, I gotta call her back. Hold on.
Poor Anne.
Hold on, because it's real important. I want you guys to have this. I want you guys.
Conservatorship was created on the 18th, I think, of September,
Okay,
1997.
I just hung up on you.
I know, Ann, but hold on. Hold on. There was one more thing I meant to ask you. Can you tell them the story about Dawn's phone?
Other than it being turned off.
Well, like, where did his phone end up at?
Well, you'd have to determine which story that was told. Carole told me that I could quit calling Dawn because she found his phone in one of the cars. I believe that I remember one of the detectives telling me that she told them that he gave her the phone in case she needed it.
Okay.
So, Tampa Bay Times was asking me about that just yesterday, and I was trying to, or it was the day before yesterday, I'm sorry, and I was trying to remember, and I am actually really thinking that it was Thursday whenever Carole made that comment to me, and I'm thinking that's why Madeline, after she left, asked me about the envelope.
It was Thursday the 28th. Carole told you to quit calling Dawn's phone.
But I'm thinking that that's correct, yes.
Yeah. So because you had been calling Dawn because he's missing. So you kept calling his phone, like hoping he would answer. And then Carole says to you, you can quit calling his phone because I found it in one of the vehicles.
That's correct. I quit calling Dawn's phone on the 29th.
And that was the day that you went and met with the detective.
Did she actually see the phone?
Correct.
Hold on a second. Little Misty's talking. What?
Did Anne actually see the phone?
Did Carole ever show you the phone, or did she just say quit calling it?
She didn't show it to me. She just said quit calling.
Yeah. And
Did
that
she
would have
tell
been
you that when she was in the office, or was it like you called the phone, she answered, and said quit calling?
Yeah.
I went to see.
So she would have told you that in the office because she was coming to the office every day. From the 20th, she came into the office the 26th, 27th, and 28th. Because Monday was the 25th. That's when it came out on the news. That's when you called Donna. And then Carole came in the 26th, 27th, and 28th. And then you went and talked to the detectives on the 29th, right?
Yes,
is that okay?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
But Carole had like when she was in the office, you had like some conversations, but they were just basically like small talk, not anything relevant to anything. But she had just said,
I don't remember. I mean, I know that there had to have been some kind of conversation. It would have just been too awkward to sit there for 3 days and not talk.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I think Carole told somebody that all I did was sit there and play solitary all day long.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with gaming. People make a lot of money gaming.
I don't have a real good computer. I didn't. I never put anything on the computer. Don didn't want it on the computer. In fact, my new boss had to drag me kicking and screaming to computerize everything. So I was used to doing it manually.
The 28th.
I was used to doing it. I was used to doing spreadsheets and ledger cards is what I was used to doing. But now that I know how to work the computer for the things that I need to do, I'm good.
Right. So like Carole told you quit calling the phone, and then Madeline brought up the thing about the envelope that Dawn gave you.
Hold on, Big Jim wants what, baby? Yeah, Adam's supposed to be bringing it down in just a minute. I'll be off the phone in just a second.
Okay, I'll let you go, Ann. I'll let you go.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
All right.
Anne.
So it's the 28th is the answer to Matt's question.
Yeah.
And then what day did she call the cops and ask if she should call? All right. So on the 29th is when Anne went in and talked to the detectives at the. Now, this is important. She went and talked to the detectives at the police department, not the sheriff's department, on the 29th. On the 28th, Carole told Anne, you can quit calling his phone because I have it. I found it in one of the vehicles.
And I'm guessing that the detectives and stuff know that information.
Well, I'll just tell you that on 2 weeks ago from yesterday, they learned of this information.
Okay.
They did not know about it previously, but 2 weeks ago from yesterday, someone told them this information. And then Chad Chronister talked about it last night on Channel 10 in Tampa, that they had this new information that they learned.
Right.
But he said they learned it from Anne and the daughters, but that's not where he learned it from.
I wonder where he learned it from.
I wonder
Sobbing
where.
away like an innocent person.
I wonder where did they get it from?
Do you know, it's interesting now because they say that they didn't know that information, but I'm guessing that there's a possibility that they did know the information.
They didn't know about that. I don't want to talk
But
too much.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'll just say they did
You
not
can
know.
stop talking if you want.
I'm just saying they did not know about the stuff that you guys, if you guys make a clip of that right there, this conversation that just happened on your channel, that's big news. That's big news because it's just not out there. That conversation is just not out there. Law enforcement was not aware of that until 15 days ago.
Why did it take them so long to become aware of that?
Yeah.
Because they never talked to Anne about it. That's why. They didn't ask her.
Which
They
is
never
really
really
bizarre.
looked into anything.
They
what I
didn't
understand.
ask her. And you have to have a conversation with a witness to get information from them. But if you don't have a conversation with them, you'll never know.
And is there anything in the reports about the phone? There's no mention of that phone at all, which is really strange as well because it's his phone, so that's what you would at least try and phone it because
One thing you got to remember is that the sheriff's department from 1997 they did not do an investigation into this case.
No,
they did not do an investigation, so there's not going to be, there's witnesses that I've talked to that said I called the sheriff's department and told them that I saw Dawn on Sunday night, and the sheriff's department never called me back. So they did not do an investigation. So they don't have this information. They don't have it.
Maybe that's why they don't want to release the report because there's nothing really in it.
But it's not the current sheriff's department. It's not the current sheriff's department's problem. It's the sheriff's department from 1997. It's not Chad Chronister's fault that they didn't do an investigation in 1997. No. We have to remember that.
Yeah, he's the new investigator. So
he was just a cop back then.
Right. All right. I'll be right back.
He needs another beer.
No, I have one right here. But I got to go turn this thing off in here.
Maybe Jinx knows this, but Jinxie.
But I'll be right back.
So the night when Carole said she was going to Albertsons to get the milk.
Right.
And she used allegedly she broke down and her brother picked her up at the side of the road. Has anyone ever spoken to the police officer that took her home?
I don't even know that person's name. I have not heard it. I have not heard that person be named at all. I just know that there was supposedly a deputy that took her home. She does have a video out now saying that she's changing her story that she had gone to Albertsons around 11 p.m. and her car overheated. And then she was walking back because since then, Chronister said that the brother was on burglary, which the burglary was at 3:06 a.m. on that Sheldon Road. So she walks up on it, hears her brother talking, and then she's like, well, I should go get myself in this crime, and puts herself over there. I mean, she knows he's a cop. He's got flashing lights. Why would you put yourself? I think that's a fabricated story. I'm not sure what the whole story is, but
yeah, because
Albertsons was actually open for 24 hours a day. I found an article with the help of some of the other people in the group who were looking over that stuff. There is an article in the paper in 1977 when it opened. It was opened as a 24-hour, 7 days a week store. So they were opening new ones around the area at the time, more 24-hour, 7-day-a-week stores that were super stores, like where you can, how they have your super grocery store, you have everything there. So they were making more of those too back then. So there's no reason to believe her saying now that Albertsons wasn't open 24 hours a day.
Because in the documentary, doesn't she say it was like in the early hours of the morning she was going?
The thing is, she doesn't say it. It's the officer, John Marciano.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And he says that the investigation indicated, so they were investigating it a little bit because they did investigate her enough to know that the investigation indicated that she was on the road at 3 a.m. when her brother and another officer had come upon her, and she was talking about her broken down car and getting cat milk. So she's changing her story now. They must have that statement somewhere in the records for him to make that statement on Tiger King.
Yeah. So how do you guys know that there was no investigation done?
I'll tell you why, because nobody's been arrested for it.
No.
Nobody bothered to ask any of the witnesses some of the questions that they should have been asking.
But that doesn't necessarily indicate that they didn't do anything, though, does it? Like they could have been doing stuff and then decided to cover it up.
All right, I'll answer honestly. I've talked to more witnesses in this case than law enforcement has. That's why I say they didn't do an investigation.
They did very little, if they did anything, because they obviously, processed the vehicle some days later. So with fingerprints and stuff, and they talked to the mechanic about it back then. So they did do somewhat of an investigation. It's probably just a half-assed one. That's my opinion. I have not seen the...
A bit like the
if that's what you can call it, investigation.
And a bit like when they because when I read the depositions in the MAM case, and when they were supposed to be following up on the civil suit, there was no investigation done there. They didn't follow up, like things were answered and they didn't follow up. And it just like the same in this, where
the classic line, investigation continues.
Leads, nothing followed up. So
part of their job is to rule out stuff, and that's part of an investigation, and it doesn't seem like they ever ruled out Carole. So whatever investigation they did, they didn't do a well enough job that she still can be, to the public, she still looks guilty.
Yeah.
And what would stop a police investigation?
I think it was because he was an adult missing person, and that wasn't really, there's nothing really to go on when there's missing. You need to have something to have leads, and there weren't on it. Carole's like, oh, he's got dementia, he's got Alzheimer's. He was going to Costa Rica, he was going to Miami, he was taking planes. If he crashed in the Gulf, she was kind of leading the investigation too, to say that look, it's possible he just forgot where he was. I think that was one of her things. One of her little fake cries was, I don't know if he doesn't know where he is. So here, let me turn off his phone. So if he doesn't know where he is, he can't even call me and ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of weird stuff there.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Really strange. Whew.
Well,
I'm catching up on these questions here.
What did we find out about the family donation connections with Chronister's wife to BCR?
That they happened.
That's about all I know too.
Hold on, let me get
There was like a
up.
$1,000 donation sometime in 99 or 2000.
No, like
It was later than that. It was like 2009.
in 2019. In 2019. And then there's also been $5,000 donations. Hold on.
While
here,
you guys are just looking at questions a sec, can any of you guys out there who are watching, don't forget to go and like the video, share it with people, subscribe, and
Hey, you know what?
My YouTube channel as well.
Let me say something real
links
quick.
in the description.
These two people, they don't do a lot of videos. So subscribe and turn on notifications. You're not going to get like five notifications a day or whatever. So hit subscribe. It's free.
Yeah,
it's free to subscribe.
Mine's over on my link is in the description. Isn't it, Jane?
No, don't do that. Don't go that far. No, I'm just kidding.
Get him off now.
I'm kidding. It's free. It's free to subscribe.
Yeah,
it's free. It actually is.
The thing, Speaking with Conviction is mine, and we've got another live coming up in a couple of days, haven't we, Jane? Speaking about a different case. So if you guys are interested in that, spread the word and come on over. But just make sure you like and subscribe, please.
And Geeky Pete does bring up a good point that the van got released by a different county. And it's true because the airport was in Pasco County, not Hillsborough County. So you do have two different counties involved in, like Hillsborough County is where the missing persons report was. Pasco County is where the van was found. So the counties might not have talked to each other. There was a problem with that back in the 90s where different law enforcement agencies did not communicate with each other very well. So Pasco County found the van. They might not have known that there was a missing persons case involved with the van. However, the van did not have a license plate on it. So, if you're a detective or in law enforcement, you would think, okay, there's no license plate. We should look into this and see what's going on with this. But apparently they didn't because they turned it over to Carole or her father and they drove it back. And it would have been evidence into a missing persons case, but really it's evidence in a murder is what it is.
That's why it was just handed straight back and for them just to be able to take it away. I mean,
that's like...
It's just weird, isn't it? And they've not done anything with this stuff.
Yeah, you give it to them and then they take it back and they wipe it down. And even at that point, if they come back and they test it, they do a luminol test and there's blood in there, it doesn't matter because you're like, well, the chain of custody you just don't know who's been there. You've
that just seems to be a thing now because I've noticed that, like, going back to the Ivory case again, like with the chain of custody of evidence, like, what's the point of having a chain of custody if you're not going to stick to it and no one's going to pull you up on it? Like, what is the point?
Right. I agree.
It's vital to have one.
Right. Yeah.
So that you can check up. But if nobody's looking up.
Let's see. Geeky Pete, did Don have a criminal record? Yes, he did. Matter of fact, I probably have it in a folder over here. He did have a criminal record. And I think that's one of the reasons law enforcement didn't really investigate because I think they saw his criminal record and they're like, this guy has a pretty extensive criminal record and we shouldn't waste our resources on it because he probably flew away somewhere. Because I think they thought that he actually did fly away. But if they would have actually done an investigation, they would have figured out pretty quick that he did not.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Jinx is hilarious. I don't know about fascinating though. I say that as I pour myself another beer. I haven't drank in, I couldn't even tell you the last time I really drank, but I'm drinking today. And yeah, this is better than the Discovery Channel. Are you kidding me? Rick Kirkham can kiss my, you know what? Hold on. Well, I'll just tell you that. I take it back. I take it back.
Oh, we're going down again.
Yes. Okay. So let's get back to the important stuff. All right. Let's get some questions. Can we get some questions here?
There you go. There's one.
Oh, we spoke about that, didn't we?
FOIA request. Yeah, I don't think law enforcement. It's an open case, so they have to protect. Like if you do a Freedom of Information Act request on the missing persons report, all you get is page 1. Everything else is redacted. But it's still it's an open case. They don't want to share certain information. So I understand that.
What if it's a closed case, like
the Stephen Avery case? Like we have access to so many documents, and it makes it so much easier. But if law enforcement would allow us to come in and look at the case file, like if they just said, okay, we'll let you see this stuff, but you can't publish it. Can you imagine? Like we could add that into some of the other stuff that we have found. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
Well, that's great about being like open and transparent, you know.
Right.
Like,
even in the Avery.
Is that a body?
That's for me, then, Jinxie.
Is that a body back there?
That's why the screen's gone blurry.
Are they moving a body? Jane, is that a body? Jane, are you guys moving a body? Jane, are you guys moving a body?
Body's moving itself.
Oh gosh, this is okay. Mexican Mike information. All right. All right. So in the beginning, we thought this Michael Garcia guy was Mexican Mike. Michael Garcia was in county jail the weekend that Dawn went missing. Oh, Sherry, I'm not answering that question. I'm just going to tell you, there's some really smart people in the comments section. I'm just going to leave it at that.
What?
We thought Michael Garcia was Mexican Mike, but he's not. I talked to his wife. His wife said he never went by Mexican Mike. Did you guys really put that out there? But Mexican Mike or Michael Garcia was in jail the weekend that Dawn went missing. He was in county jail. There was a guy that lived across the street from Danny Lewis, Dawn's adopted son, and his name was Michael Stipp, S-T-I-P. And he used to come over to Danny's house. And Trish, Kenny's ex-wife, said that she met Mexican Mike at Danny's house, that her and Kenny went to Danny's house, and that's where they met Mexican Mike. Michael Stipp passed away in 2007. So we're kind of thinking that that could be Mexican Mike. However, hold on here. Let me see if I can get a name for you real quick. Sherry's trying to get me to drunk dial other people. I'm not going to do it.
Who's she trying to get you to drunk dial?
I'm not going to say. I am not going to say.
Party pooper.
It's one of the things I really like about the group is that they're really smart and they have a lot of contacts. Now, let me just say this. Sherry's not trying to get me to call anybody that I haven't talked to before. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that. Okay, hold on. Let me get this information. Okay.
I wonder if that van registered information might be in that one report in the group. Maybe you want to check there.
All right. Hey, Jinxie, do you want to pull up a newspaper article or not?
I can try.
You probably don't have it. I haven't shared it. It's here. I'll screenshot it to you.
Okay.
Well, wait. Hold. Oh, I don't know if I can share this or not.
I could look it up on the newspapers too if it's in on that site.
Send it to me and I'll let you know.
I bet you would.
You'd be like, is this okay to share as she shares it on the live?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can. I don't think we want this stuff out there, actually. Yeah, matter of fact, I just got a text saying do not share. It's just that fast. Like, it's just that fast. But the Michael Stipp guy is not Mexican Mike. Michael Garcia is not Mexican Mike. We know who Mexican Mike is. But if people research, you should be able to figure it out. But I can't put it out there right now.
That's fair enough.
I would love to, but I can't. I mean, I've just told don't do it.
Yeah.
Listen, anything that
you know rules are supposed to be broken.
What?
I said, you know rules are supposed to be broken.
I know that's promises.
Rules schmoles.
Share away. Share.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Now he's getting all, you better not share.
Hello?
Is it Carole Baskin? Carole Baskin's calling back.
Howard?
No, it is not.
Howard. Oh my God, he hung up. Oh, I should have just had on speakerphone right away.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it
but
really him?
Howard has a filthy mouth. I'll just say that.
What did he say?
I'm not going to repeat it.
That was not
Please
him.
repeat it.
Wow. Well, Howard, you and I are going to have a...
Was it really him?
No, of course not.
Phone him again. No, I'm joking. Sorry. I need to behave now. Any questions?
Hey, you can ask him about that mole. I asked him about the mole.
I should text him. Like, does Carole have a mole in the upper right quadrant?
That's too much information.
It is too much
I don't want to be
information.
thinking about Carole's upper right quadrant.
But I
He
should.
can't stop talking about it because it was information he shouldn't have. It's too much.
Oh,
Could
you imagine though? Could you imagine, like, I mean, like, if it's true and someone texts you like, is there a mole in the upper right hand quadrant? And you're like, how do they know this? You'd be like, how do they know?
What? Can I just, like, what's the upper right quadrant?
Are you asking what it is?
Yeah.
Which
No,
part?
you're not.
Upper
Yeah.
right quadrant of which part?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Hold on. No. Okay, hold on. You guys have these shirts on. What are your shirts of?
They got prints on them.
What are they? What kind of print?
Mine's a tiger print.
Okay, a tiger and a Jane.
leopard.
Leopard. And leopards are what? Leopards and tigers are what? What are they?
Spotty and stripy.
But what family?
Feline.
Okay, what's another word for
They're
feline?
pussies.
Cat.
Pussies. Okay.
I knew that's where you were going, but I wanted to make it hard.
So there's your answer about the upper right quadrant. There's
I
your
bet
answer.
they want to change their outfits right about now.
So in the upper right quadrant of your outfits, is there a mole, Howard? We want to know. They just now got it. Jane's just now got it. After all this time, she's like, what? She just now figured it out.
Thank
you, Brian. Brian, thank you.
Yeah.
Brian gets it. Brian's like, he's trying to say.
Oh, Eric.
Geek, which are you talking about?
Oh my God, what? This is just going from bad to worse in the
Whoa! I thought Banana Man was gone. Last I heard, Banana Man was gone. Like he's back and he comes back with that? I thought he was gone.
That's his opening statement.
Oh gosh. Don't get Jinxie laughing again. Don't do it.
Oh my God.
I can't believe Jane just now got it. After a couple of hours, she finally gets it.
I can see Jane's mole.
What?
It's right there on the right
Break out the tiger juice, everybody.
Just go seriously wrong when I'm on with you.
I know it's bad. It's bad. Live streams, the last couple of live streams have, like, with the exception of Charles Boswell, the last couple, well, the common denominator is Jinxie. That's a problem, I think.
That's all my fault.
That's the common denominator.
Oh my God.
Oh no! Quit putting those up there. Quit putting those comments on the screen. Who's doing that? Is it Jane or is it little Misty?
Yeah. No, it's not me.
The girl from Australia, quit doing it. The girl from Down Under. The girl from Down Under, quit doing it.
You've set this up from weeks ago. You knew this was going to happen. Whoa.
You know, it's just at some point it's just too much. Like this moleskin notebook comment. Like I mean to what end? Like,
I'm gonna go now.
Like, seriously, somebody needs to get one of these and label it tiger juice. And I'm telling you, it's $1 million in your pocket. I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to come out with the tiger juice line. And I'm going to have like
an advertising video out in the morning.
The logo is going to be a mole in the right quadrant. The mole is the fire button for the juice.
Oh, that just came out Jane's nose.
And the problem is everybody's picturing this mole in the upper right hand quadrant. That's the problem. You're like, I see it. It's right there.
I've got a little toy mole out there somewhere. It's only about this big.
Little Misty goes, it's right here. It's right here.
I feel like I should go and get it.
Oh gosh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's look at this bipolar. Wanda actually has a real question. It's not mole related. It's about the bipolar MRI claim.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Hold on. Has anyone looked at the bipolar MRI claim? Because I found an article from 2013 that MRI might become part of. Okay,
It isn't.
might become part of
But it isn't. It definitely isn't.
That's 2013. So there's no way.
It isn't in this country anyway.
I don't think in 1997 that you could do an MRI and tell if someone was bipolar or had dementia or anything like that. I don't know about any of that stuff.
That looks like it's written on there with a different pen from the doctors.
Yeah.
It's an altered mental state.
I did see that little, I saw that document and the ink was darker. Here, let me see if I have, where is that at? I saw that somewhere.
In the group somewhere.
And
Was
the
it
thing is, like, if you're questioning bipolar, like in this country, it wouldn't be an MRI that you would go for.
No.
You'd speak to a psychiatrist, and they would speak to you about your symptoms and what you're experiencing, how long you've been experiencing it for, whether you've experienced it before, like what other factors are contributing to it. Like, you know, I've been there when people have been diagnosed with, you know, they go through the whole assessment process and the psychiatrist will diagnose them with something.
What doesn't make sense is that Carole's going to come out in 2020 and have some kind of document like an MRI or some kind of prescription pad document that says Dawn was bipolar.
Mm.
Even say it. It's a question mark. Bipolar question mark.
Yeah.
Right. In a different color ink. And yeah, I mean, like, that's your proof? Are you serious right now? I mean, it's crazy. Has anyone been able to, I'm going to assume Patrick's talking about, has anyone been able to talk to Dawn's son?
Yeah.
I did. I talked to Danny for 40 minutes about 2 weeks ago. I talked to him on the phone. He's incarcerated, so it's hard to get him on the phone, but I did talk to him for like 40 minutes. And I just can't talk about the conversation too much. But one thing that I did ask him about was the gun collection that Dawn had, because Danny did work with Dawn a lot, and I asked him, did he have guns? And he said yes, he did have guns, because the gun collection is a big part of the story, because Trish Farr talks about Kenny bringing home all of these guns. And I asked Danny, I said, how many guns did your dad have? And he said 50, 55 to 60 guns. That's how big the gun collection was.
Wow.
And Trish Farr says that Kenny brought home like 50 guns on that Sunday evening. So his account matches what Trish said as far as like the amount of guns. But I will tell you,
But Carole also admitted that she gave those guns to
Kenny.
Farrell.
Yeah, she did.
She's denying that it was that Sunday.
Right. Yeah. And Kenny is saying that it was months later when he got the guns. And I know this is not out there yet, but Kenny has said it was months later. And the sheriff's department says it was not 50 guns that they picked up, but the sheriff's department did get guns from Kenny, or from Trish anyway.
Then I asked, is that part of his payment? Did he sell those guns to make some money for doing whatever he did, if he did anything for Carole during the disappearance of Don?
Here's something. I had a college, some students from a college yesterday that I did a Zoom meeting with. And I told them
how that went.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
I was going to ask you how that went.
It went really well. These kids are really smart. A lot of them study cybersecurity. But I told them if they wanted to look into something, what they should look into. I don't know. I think maybe I'll let them look into it before I put it out there. I think I'll give them a chance to look into it before I put it out there, because I want to see what they come up with first. Thanks, Beck. I am on Twitter at Jackal Entertain, although it's hard to. I haven't had time to go on Twitter recently. And Lisa makes a good point. What difference does it make if he's bipolar? He's a missing person. I mean, really, if he couldn't read or write, who cares? He went missing. What's it matter?
And the thing is, it's just
she wasn't trying to get the bipolar notice. She was trying to get the dementia notice because he went missing because he simply forgot who he was or where he lived,
Right.
Yeah, but if that's
She's
the
now
case, then
changing
that's
the story because she had something with bipolar on it and not dementia.
Yeah. However, he was smart enough to fly an airplane and fly it to Costa Rica. I have dementia. I can't remember things 5 minutes ago, but I can fly to Costa Rica? Really? Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And how old was he? He was only young, wasn't he? Pardon me.
9 when he went missing, I believe.
How old?
59, I think he was.
Yeah, so that's still quite young for dementia. It'd be classed as like early onset at that age, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that is kind of young.
And the percentage of people who get early onset dementia, I mean, depending on what type of dementia it is, it's quite low.
Yeah, normally when you have dementia, you're older, like a lot older.
Yeah.
And
you can't have dementia young. You can't have it. It is
you
can.
Yeah,
not
early
possible.
onset.
Rare.
But it's just a low percentage, isn't it? Like, you can get it for different reasons as well. Like,
I think sometimes I get it actually. Like, I don't remember what I
That's all the
did
beer.
like 15 minutes ago. I'm like, what was I doing 15 minutes ago? I'll be like, did I squirt the bottle or not? All right, someone said something. All right, so yes, Trish gave a receipt. There was a receipt that she gave to the sheriff's department for a meat grinder that went to Tampa Machinery Auction. Tampa Machinery Auction has changed ownership. So the people who own it now are not the same people that owned it back in 1997, and those records don't exist anymore. So if there was a transaction that happened in 1997, there's no record of it that we know of.
But the sheriff should have a copy of these.
Well, of course they should. But do they is the question.
That's a good question. So maybe Sheriff Chronister can come on and answer some questions.
Oh, I should ask him if he'd come on and do an interview with these girls. He would feel safe with you guys. He wouldn't feel safe with me, I bet. But he should do an interview with you guys. All right, Leo's asked a question. Why did Carole deny the claim of having 2 commercial meat grinders?
Right, wait.
That's a really good question. Because here's what I was told. Here's what I was told, and I shouldn't even say this, but I'm just gonna say it. There were 2 meat grinders. One of them worked and one of them didn't. The one that didn't work went to Tampa Machinery Auction. The one that did work ended up at the lake at Big Cat Rescue.
So you're saying it was tossed in the lake, one of them.
Did I say that out loud? I had my eyes closed. Did I say that out loud?
I don't know. You might have been beer speaking.
If I said that, I didn't. I take it back. I didn't mean that.
Interesting.
So if you girls from the UK have any pull, what you should do is make a little clip of what I just said and send it to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department and say, here's a tip for you. Go look at the lake at Big Cat Rescue.
They really need to look
We'll
at
wake you up in the morning and ask you if we were allowed to do that.
No, I think you should do that. I think you should say, hey, you need to look at this guy. You know, this guy Ripper has been investigating this case. He's talked to people off the record. And you know that he has information that is reliable because you've talked about it on TV. And look at what he just said.
And that makes me something that you said we couldn't talk about, that you asked Dan.
Then don't talk about it.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
But something that you asked us previously to talk about, but then said didn't. I've just made a connection.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yes.
And in all honesty, I'm gonna have to go pretty soon because I'm in too many beers here. But you should just edit this and send it to the Sheriff's Department, and you should say, hey, you guys need to look at this.
Okay.
and put vote for Boswell on there.
I mean, I'll have to get someone.
I'm telling you guys, if Charles Boswell gets elected sheriff, this case is fucking solved.
Yeah.
Solved, I mean.
But you know, he said it would be thanks to you and your team.
Yeah.
I've given him everything. Like, I showed him everything. Like, I'm like, because he has a consulting company. So on a professional level, you know, I said, here's what I have. And I presented it to him and he looked over at it. Like, and this was not like, this was outside of, you know, like doing my YouTube channel stuff because I wanted his professional advice. I said, here's what I know. These are the witness statements that I have. These are my, you know, like the affidavits I have or whatever. I presented him everything and he said, there's enough probable cause right here for a grand jury to hand down an indictment.
Wow.
Now, the thing is, I've called Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department and asked them to call me back. I did have a meeting with them, but I only gave them a little bit of information. I didn't tell them everything. I didn't spend 6.5 hours with them like I did with Charles Boswell. I'm just going to leave it at that.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm not buying any tiger juice. I'm going to tell you that right now. Nobody drink the tiger juice. Don't drink it. Hey, so
You probably could buy it too.
I'm not buying tiger juice.
The corner of Nebraska.
I'm pretty sure tiger juice is not something that anybody wants to drink. Hey, what's up, Laura? Laura Buck is in the house. Oh, man. Come on. Now, I'm going to say Geeky Pete won the internet the other day when he posted on Carole's YouTube channel. People are making a molehill out of, or a mountain out of a molehill. And she's like, indeed. She had no idea what he was talking about. All right. Hey, Patrick. Patrick, if you have my email, it's ripperjackmedia@gmail.com. I would love to talk to that vet.
Where's that?
All right. So Patrick Beckman, ripperjackmedia@gmail.com. I would like to talk to that vet.
Ooh.
I know we all got serious and we were like, what?
Ripped.
No, Trina, come on, Trina. My mascot's not a mole. No way.
He's
Come
no.
on. No.
That's gonna be the logo. Get it right.
Right. Not the mascot, it's the logo. Are you kidding me? Ripperjack Media and just a little mole in the upper right-hand quadrant.
He's my little.
I mean, how do we make a logo? Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. No. What are you doing? You people from Australia, I don't understand. Is that a penguin?
No.
Is that a mole?
Recognize a mole.
You need to put it like in the right in the upper right hand quadrant. Not on the shoulder, in the quadrant. Like here, like, you know. Do I need to draw you a picture?
No.
Yeah, go on then.
Let me show you the picture that I got. Let me show you the picture they sent me. Hold on, let me get the picture they sent. I printed it out.
Oh no.
If you're not over the age of 18, you need to exit the stream. You guys want me to show you this picture I got?
I don't
know.
Jinxie, are you ready for it? Jinxie, you ready?
No.
I'm putting my serious face.
Look at little Misty. She's like, I'm ready.
No, I'm trying to put my serious face.
Just do it already.
All right, you ready? This is the picture that I got of it right here. That's it. That's a picture. Nobody's ever going to believe anything we say.
No, you take it seriously anymore.
Did you guys see it? Did you see? There it is right there. There's a picture. What's that mean?
I thought that was that guy's extra.
I'll get up again. Let's just see what
It looks like Pom Pom's hairy mess.
Oh my God, my face hurts.
Jinxie's coughing.
Oh.
All right, I don't know about Vernon Yates.
Big mole rescue. Sorry.
Are we done? Can I go? Oh my God.
Wow.
I drank way too much. I'm just going to say that right now. Oh gosh. Yo, hey, can you put a screen here? Hold on, Matt. Hold on. Just a second. Don't go anywhere.
Oh,
Jinxie's finally coming back. She caught her breath, I think.
Subpoena them all.
What? Oh, no.
Oh, my head hurts.
God.
You know, she have that thing removed now.
You know that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, you could just get hold of the mole remover and question.
Oh. Oh my God.
These comments. The drawing is the thumbnail for Ripper's next video.
Can you identify this?
Have you seen this in the what? The 90s, whenever it was she was partying.
Oh my gosh. I think I do need to make that a thumbnail for my next video. I think I got a picture of Howard. It looks like a picture of Howard right there, Jane. I think that's Howard. You see it? He's he's whacking the mole.
Oh my god.
I'm sweating.
Did he win a
Take
prize?
it off. Take it off. Oh, it's so hot in here.
My face
Oh
hurts.
my
Man,
gosh.
I'm going to recover from this.
Prize? Did he win a prize?
Oh man. Let's see. Google Vernon Yates YouTube. He calls. Yeah, I talked to Vernon when I was in Florida. I sat down and interviewed him. It's not on my channel, but I did interview him, and it is.
She's not done.
I did record it, but I haven't published it because there's information in there that I don't want out there yet. But I did film it. But I posted a picture of him and I together. But there's information that he has that I don't want out there right now. But he does refute some of the things. He talks about how Howard threw a fit and stuck his tongue out at him. Like he's like Howard basically got mad at Vernon and stuck his tongue out at him. I mean, like a second grader would do.
Whoa.
And then Vernon gave me some other information too, but I didn't publish the video because I just think the information that he has is too important to put out right now. But Vernon has a lot of information, and he was one of the suspects in the case, like because he had he was in a court battle against Carole and Dawn for these two animals. So he was a suspect in the case. But he's also like, I called him the dog catcher of the exotic animal world. And there's not, like, people that have exotic pets, they're not fans of Vernon Yates because Vernon is the guy, when there's an issue with Florida Fish and Wildlife, he goes out and he grabs your animals and he holds them for ransom. Basically, he has to get paid for feeding them. But he had animals that belonged to Carole and Dawn, and he won his case against Carole, and he can't talk about it because I think he signed a non-disclosure. But Carole likes to brag that she's never been beat in court by anybody. But guess what, Carole? You got your ass handed to you by Vernon Yates, and you're going to get your ass handed to you again. So, but I'm not going to put any of that stuff out there on video. But Vernon does have a lot of information about Carole.
That one video he did with the lawyer's office that posted it on Facebook. He talks about when he first met them. He met them buying a property, and then that's when he noticed all the bad cats or whatever. So he called.
Right. Goodbye, Jane. See you later. Thanks for having us.
He called whomever handles, complaints. So that's how, in my opinion, well, probably in all of it.
Yeah.
She was told, look, your cages aren't up to code.
Yeah, Vernon has a lot of information. Somebody asked a question. JW says, Ripper, have you had a second witness verify that mole? I have, actually. I have.
They draw you a picture too.
They're the one. Yeah, they're the one that sent me this picture right here. They sent me that picture. And I said, I showed the first person. I said, does this identify the person, the suspect? And they said, yes, that's the mole.
Oh, that's a blast from the past.
But yeah, there are actually two people. However, they could have talked to each other and concocted the story, but they live in different states. But supposedly there's more people, and there's actual like a color. There's like actual real like Polaroid pictures. So when I get those, which I don't know if I want to get them or not. Here, let me show you the second picture, because there was actually another picture that I got. And the only thing different was the top part was darker up there. That was the only difference. But both up, they were like, both pictures look pretty close to each other. Just, you know, I don't know. It's a scary, hairy deal. I don't know. It's just like, like I said, it's a scary, hairy deal. I don't know what to think about it.
That's a good question, actually.
What's a good question?
Is it a mole or a wart?
What? No, don't ask that question. Whoever asked that question, block them right now. Jane, block them. Jane, you got to block that person.
Who are we blocking?
We've gone back
Sherry
to the mole.
Sherry said that?
She said asking for a friend.
Block Sherry right
That friend
now.
is me.
Oh, God.
She's jinxing.
Let me go through these questions.
Maybe those guys need to get tested.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's probably a lot of people that need to get tested from what I hear. Howard, you should be the first.
That was what the phone call was about.
I should have asked him, Howard, have you been tested? For what? Who is this? It's Ripper. I don't know who you are. What?
It's the clinic.
How do you not know? Mole or wart? Oh, asking for a friend.
That's what he said. And that friend is me.
Oh. Okay, so now Matt says Special K and ecstasy orgies. Now Matt is onto something there, because that's part of the stuff that let me read part of an email. Let me read an email. I think your Jane, your camera's getting fogged up from all the mole talk. And it's hold on, let me read. Oh, I'm not gonna read all the email. I'm just gonna read part of it. Everybody's so quiet. They're like, oh, we're gonna get to hear the goods.
You're just wondering what's coming next.
Me too. I can't be responsible for what I'm about to say. Oh. Let's see. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on here. All right. You will be getting a call tomorrow from a friend of mine. His name is Blank. He was the one that was blanking Carole. He has some hilarious blank stories with her. He told me she is and would say and would say it's her tiger juice. Effing gross, but hey, we were young drug addicts and she had endless ketamine and money. All right, hold on. I'm going to skip some of this. The purring was hilarious, weird, and I admit I gave in a couple of times. The thing that will prove my story is she has either a wart or a mole. He doesn't say wart, a mole on the top right quadrant of her.
Blank.
There's more, but I'm not going to read it. Let's see here. I'm going to have Blank send you some pictures that will prove what I'm saying is true. Carole sold a lot of Special K back in the day. This other stuff I'm not going to read. I'm going to keep that to myself. But anyway, I'm not making this stuff up, people. It's absolutely crazy. And I agree, Beck. It's bad. It's really bad.
Question for you there, Rick.
It's bad. Sherry, I'm sure, Sherry, you are loving this. I'm sure you're like, because here's the thing. Carole makes all these videos where she's a victim and she acts like she's just above everybody. But in reality, she's just, I don't want to say like everybody else because, you know, I don't do this stuff and I don't know anyone that does. So she's not like everybody else. And she's a rare catch, Howard. She's not above everybody else. She's just, I mean, in reality, she is like everybody else.
Mm.
She likes to have fun. She likes to party.
Debbie. Well, we know how to identify her if she ever goes missing.
She likes to do a lot of things, obviously. You know?
This is very professional.
It's not.
I know people are going to watch this and are like, we can't believe anything these people ever say in the future.
Oh, well.
But you know, that's the good thing about being like what I call a rogue journalist is that we don't have to answer to anybody. So if somebody sends me an email and it says like all these things, I can read it. I can say, this is what they sent me. This is what it says. And, you know, people listening or watching, they can decide if it's true or not. And the people who really know Carole, they can decide if that's how she is or not. And I'm sure some people are watching going, oh yeah, she's definitely like, you know, I'm sure there's people, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe Howard.
Out how to get those Polaroids on.
I know she might be like, oh yeah, who took those Polaroids? Who took them? I got to figure out who it was that took them. I got to pay them. To recant their story.
Donation monies from the Big Cat Rescue, I'm sure.
Oh gosh. All right. I better go because I've said way too much. You guys need it after this feed, delete the video.
No way.
You're like, no chance in hell. Look at Jane. No. Are you kidding me? We have Howard on the phone. We have Ann on the phone. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great
Make sure you guys edit and do little small clips. I think that would be a gold mine if you do small clips of some of the things that were done.
I will have to find out how you edit. I mean, I can just about go live, Ripper. It sends a whole new beast.
I can edit for you.
Bingo.
But yeah, you have some good like sound bites. What? It is hot in this room. You're right. It is hot.
That's been up there about 10 minutes. I'm trying to get to know.
It has been. I haven't been paying attention. I've been looking at my picture of the mole. I've been looking at this hairy mess.
Doesn't that kind of look like that video? I'll rip her.
But yes, I am married. What do you kidding? Yes, I'm married. I have a wonderful wife. She's like really nice. She's sweet.
I
And
knew
she's
that.
in love. She's in love with me. And that's great. That's good stuff. So sorry, Brandy. I am married, and I agree it's hot in this room.
Hey guys, as well, don't forget, go and like this video, share it with whoever you want to share it with, subscribe to Jane's channel, go into the description, subscribe to my channel, my Speaking with Conviction channel.
Yeah, go in the description of the video. When you go back to rewatch it, go in the description of the video, click the links, and subscribe to Little Misty's channel and Jane's channel, because outside of all the laughing and the fun that we had, they do really good work when it comes to wrongful conviction stuff. And wrongful convictions, it's a serious matter. And that's where my heart is in wrongful convictions.
Yeah.
I normally don't do cold case stuff because I don't like the prison system that we have in America. I'm against it. I don't think anybody should be put in a cage like an animal.
No.
In this case, though, I think justice needs to be done for the family of Don Lewis. But I'm still torn on it because there's days where I'm like, am I really trying to get someone put behind bars? But their justice does need to be done.
Yeah.
For this family.
Yeah.
But please follow these two girls because they do good work. And although their channels don't have a ton of followers, behind the scenes, they do some hellacious work. So please support them. It doesn't cost anything to support these two girls.
We're going to be talking on Saturday as well. We're going to be talking about another wrongful conviction case who's actually trying to get out at the moment. If anyone's heard of Melissa Kalyazinski, we're going to be talking about her. We're going to be talking about her on Saturday. We've got somebody coming on to talk about her.
That's a horrible case.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, her attorney is who?
Kathleen Zellner.
Right. Guess who the attorney is for Kent?
Yeah.
That's Zellner also.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Cheers, man.
I recognized the name when you had the T-shirt on. I knew that was I knew it was Kathleen's case.
Yeah.
She's
Kathleen.
Why I'm here.
Kathleen is a saint. When Howard says that Carole is a saint, Howard, come on, man, you don't even know.
No.
Kathleen Zellner is the real deal.
Yeah.
All right. I better go. I've said too much today. I've talked about the FBI. But hey, thanks for having us on your channel. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and Jinxie, for coming on. You don't know how amazing this has been. I mean, more than anything we could have even wished for.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
It was a lot of fun, and we should do it again. We should do it again.
Absolutely. That would
I
be
love
great.
you girls. I love the work that you do.
Yeah,
Jinxie,
same to you.
Jinxie.
And thanks, Ren, as well, for coming on.
I know. Jinxie, you know.
Yeah.
Jinxie, you need to get off of here and get back to work. There's shit that needs to be done. I need information.
Oh, no.
Well, girls, I got to go. I'm being told I got to get back to work before the whip comes out.
Oh, it's been so great talking to you, bro.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone who's stayed with us this whole time as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Thanks, girl.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.